Hello everybody and welcome to Enter the Gungeon, ranking every single gun in the game tier list. I've gone through and I've got a HD image of every single gun in the game. Believe me, that took a long time. And we've set up some categories here, and I think people have been wanting this for quite a while. I did sort of a mini version of this in a stream where I kind of made my own little list, and people seem to enjoy that. And honestly, there's not many of these out there right now, and I think as a sort of tips video, just for what weapons are good, what weapons are bad, I think this is going to really help a lot of people out. I have around 1,300, 1,200 hours in Enter the Gungeon. I've played it on PC, I've played it on PS4, I've completed the game, I think, 3 times over now. So I think I have a pretty good experience, and I've definitely used every single gun in the game at least 10 times. So I kind of know my way around most of them and know what's good and what's bad. As you can see here, we've got our tier set up. So we've got F, which is literally like the trashiest of trashies, like you just don't even need to touch it. These bad weapons are going to be weapons that most of the time aren't very good, but they do have some situations. Just okay is basically, as it says, just okay. It's nice to have it. It's not going to win you the run. It's not going to be a hindrance. It's just there. Good is going to be a decent help in your run. It's going to be something that you kind of rely on and go back to for room clearing or boss killing. A huge help at A, that's going to be something that can really aid you in room clearing or boss killing and make it much more likely that you're going to win. And then obviously S tier are guns that can outright win a run for you on its own. It can carry an entire run on its back without anything else sort of guns. And yeah, we're going to go through. There's 218 guns, I think it's 218. There's a lot. As you can see, there's a lot. This is going to take a long time. This is going to be a very long video. I'm going to not cut it up or anything. I'm just going to leave it as is. A few things to go over before we get started. The way that I'm going to be ranking items is not based on their in-game rank. So I do believe the icebreaker here, for example, that is a B tier item, comes out of a green chest. I am not going to be ranking it based on its chest tier. So you can actually see, for example, a brown tier, a D tier item in S tier, even though in-game it is D tier. The reasoning for that is because I do believe that a lot of the time the power of the item transcends its rankings within the game, and I think with this as well, it's going to give a much better sense of how things stack up against each other rather than what chests they come out of. Another thing to mention as well is how I'm going to be ranking these. So there's many different things I'm going to be using to rank these, and most of the items I'll go at least somewhat in depth on my decision and why it's ranked where it's ranked. But basically, for the most part, the ranking is going to be how common the item is. So if an item is really powerful but resides in a D tier chest, that means it's a lot more common than things that reside in an S tier chest, a black chest. So therefore the power ranking is actually scaled higher because of its relative ease to find. And there's going to be other factors like that. So like sometimes I'll factor in its synergies. Sometimes if it has really good and common synergies, that's going to bump it up some tiers. Like I said, how common it's going to be is another thing that's going to really play into it. How much ammo it has, things like that. So there is some weapons out there that are very powerful but have very limited ammo. So there's going to be a lot of things that play into how I rank these. But as I said, we'll just go into it. I'm not going to do this in any particular order, and things may change around. I'm going to try my best to keep the rankings from like leftmost to being the best to rightmost being the worst within each tier. Now, that may be something that we have to tweak at the end and go through right towards the end. And like I said, I don't know how long this video is going to be. It could easily be 2 hours. I really don't know. We've got a lot of guns to go through. So yeah, that could be a lot of fiddling around. I am pretty sure, almost certain, that every single gun is here. If I have missed one and you do notice one that isn't there, that I haven't managed to get, then please do let me know and I'll add its rankings in the comment section. Also, I'll give a link to this. It's hidden at the minute, but I'll give a link to this template, and you guys can go and make your own power rankings. There is another power ranking template out there on Tier List Maker, and I was going to use that, but unfortunately it was using all of the default images from the wiki that were incredibly low resolution, which I also had, and I made my tier list the exact same. But then I decided to painstakingly go through and increase the size of every single image by quite a lot, and its resolution by quite a lot, and it took a long time, believe me. But otherwise, these were like so pixelated, you could hardly tell what some of the guns even were, and yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. But either way, we're going to go on with the icebreaker. So, the icebreaker, in my opinion, is not a good weapon. It is alright, but it comes out of a green tier chest. So, in my opinion, the fact that it comes out of a green tier chest makes it not very good. It only starts with 3 ammo. The first 2 shots, in its magazine, should I say. The first 2 shots freeze, and the third shot is like a bullet that kills the frozen enemy. It is utility-wise quite nice. Like, it can be very useful for freezing enemies in a pinch, but its damage and its payoff is just not enough to kill most enemies in one magazine, and based on its limited ammo, that's not very good for us at all, and yeah, I really think that there really makes it just okay. I think it's not quite bad because it does have a good use. If it's the first weapon you get, it is very useful for freezing enemies, and very, very nice for just getting a little bit of extra oomph off. And it does have one very powerful synergy. I believe it's with the exotic, and it makes it into a somewhat sniper rifle from Destiny, and that's a very good synergy. So that puts it in just okay. Again, these may change as we go throughout, so we'll see about that one. But yeah, that's just okay. Another thing I want to go over just before we get into any more items as well, sometimes I'm not going to know the exact amount of ammo that a weapon starts with, like its actual ammo capacity or its magazine size, or sometimes I won't know a synergy's name, just because I don't know all of them off the top of my head. I know a lot of them, but not all of them, so I do apologise, and I'm not going to bother going through the wiki. This is purely based on my thoughts. I'm not going to take any additional statistics or anything like that, so we're just going to go through. Next up, we've got the JK-47. Obviously, it's the AK-47, but it's bad. Literally exactly what it is. It's the exact same as the AK in stat-wise. The only difference is it has a much, much lower fire rate, which in my opinion makes it bad. It does only come out of a C tier chest, unlike the AK, which comes out of a B tier chest, but I think it is still relatively useless, considering it has a counterpart which is much, much better at doing the exact same job. That really makes it, like, stands it out as a bad weapon. You really don't want to be getting this, especially if you're buying it. I really think it's not very good at all. Next up, we've got the Jolter. The Jolter is a bit of an odd one. So the Jolter's good because it has crazy high knockback. I think it has 200 ammo to start, which is pretty decent. That means you can room clear for most likely a whole floor and not run out of ammo, or at least near to a whole floor. Like I said, it's got very heavy knockback. It's got quite thick bullet projectiles, so it's very easy to hit enemies, especially if you're playing on controller with the aim assist. It makes it very, very easy to hit enemies, and I think it's honestly a welcome addition to most loadout. It's a gun that I don't use that often, even when I get it, simply because I usually have something better, but I do think it is good for now. It might end up moving down to just okay. We'll see what fits into each tier and see how that looks, but for now I'm putting that in good. I think that for the ammo and the knockback and everything about it, especially on the floors that have a lot of pits, really makes it worth having, and it's something that I'm never upset to see out of a chest. Next up, we have the Club. The Club is literally purposely the worst gun in the game. Like, it is based on a gun from CSGO by the same name, I do believe, and it was put in by the devs as a literal joke, as it's a really bad gun in CSGO, so they made it a really bad gun in this. Incredibly high spread, high fire rate, super low damage. It is good for finding secret rooms. That is all. You can shoot walls with it and find secret rooms. That's it. So we're putting it in trash tier. Pure trash. The first of the pure trash weapons. If you see this, even though it's a D tier weapon, it's basically just gun muncher fodder from that point onwards. Next, we've got the shovel gun. Night shovel, I think it's called. A knight's gun. I can never remember the exact name of this one. But this gun, very, very good. I'm going to put it in huge help right off the bat. No need for even much of an explanation. This gun is brilliant. It has a very high damage, good ammo, and once you finish an entire magazine, it will dig up random prizes. Some of it can be just a casing, sometimes it can dig up blanks, sometimes it can dig up armor, and sometimes, on the rare occasion, it can dig up spice or ammo. And that ability, it can also dig up junk too. That ability makes it so nice, and just the actual power of the weapon itself makes it a huge help. Any run that you get it, you're going to be well off on clearing rooms, and it does have a synergy. Is it with the star pew that makes it dig up things a lot more often? Or maybe it's called like green fingers or something. It's with the star pew or the pea shooter or something like that. It's something gardening related. And that is, yeah, that's a very good synergy for that. So that belongs in a huge help in A tier. I do think that's a very, very good weapon. And it's actually kind of crazy so far that we've got one in every tier. That's very surprising. I know we've only been through like 5 guns, but still it's surprising. Next we've got the Cruller's Glaive. The Cruller's Glaive is another very good weapon. Basically, you throw it, and it dashes around enemies. It's got 100 ammo. It reloads after 1, and yeah, it can bounce between enemies and hit multiple, and it's got some very good synergies as well. And I do believe one of the synergies, if you get the Blood Brooch, means it can de-jam enemies. So if you hit an enemy that is jammed, it will unjam that enemy, including bosses. And for that synergy alone, it puts it in good, but honestly, it's the damage that it deals already puts it in good. I think it's a very good item, and I do think it's better than the Jolter. Most likely not going to be switching them around until the very end, but I'll put that one there. Definitely a good item. Next we've got the Laser Lotus. Laser Lotus, I believe it's A tier. Is it A tier or is it S tier? Either way, it's a very, very, very good gun. I do believe it got a buff with Farewell to Arms as well. But yeah, the only problem with it, which is a real annoyance, and I have actually died to this once, and it was on the Lich fight. Unfortunately, it electrifies water. The projectiles electrify water, but it is one of the only, if not the only, weapons that electrifies water, but doesn't give you electric immunity. Meaning, if you pop a water barrel, or you use another gun that fires water and then use this gun, you will electrify the water and damage yourself, which is very, very frustrating, especially on floors like the Hollow, when it's very easy to produce water in many capacities. So I think for that one, I'm going to put it in good. It is definitely a good item. I need to swap those around. There you go. Definitely a good item, but I can't put it in huge help simply for the fact that you can self-damage with it, and that makes it a very difficult weapon to use, along with the fact that it doesn't have a particularly high ammo count. It's not got the most in the world. It can definitely boss kill, and it can definitely room clear, which makes it a very good item, makes it well versed at both of those. But it is not good enough to stand on its own, such as the shovel. The shovel can kind of do it all. Next up, we've got the laser rifle. Laser rifle, I think, is a pretty bad assault rifle as far as assault rifles go in this game. It's got okay ammo at 500. It does have a synergy where it fires its entire magazine at an incredibly high rate of fire in one go, which is a very, very, very annoying and strange synergy, which is another downside about it. But I think it's relatively weak. It's good enough for the first like 3 floors, but after that it's not a weapon you want to be using at all. It's mainly just there as a backup or to go in a gun muncher. So I do think I'm going to put it in just okay. It's nice to have it when you have it, but honestly, if I'm going to open up a C tier chest and I see this thing, there is definitely things I would rather have. Next up, we've got the Life Orb. I do believe this is A tier. The Life Orb is a very strange one because it is good, but it's hard to use effectively, and it has very low ammo. I can't remember exactly how much ammo it is. I think it's 500, but it murders it. Every time you use it, it beams the ammo down so far. So basically, the way this item works, for those of you that don't know, you lock onto an enemy using it, and then when you kill that enemy, it traps its soul, and then you can reload the orb, or press reload while holding the orb, to release that soul and deal that enemy's health's worth of damage to every other enemy in the room, which is very nice. And you can actually do some pretty cool things. If you kill like a gun nut with it, then walk into another room, you can kill the entire wave in one go. And there is some small scenarios, if you have the right set of items, like any that increase, like scatter shot, that increase the amount of shots it fires, amount of beams it fires. You can kill a phase of the Lich or other multi-phase bosses, and then kill the next phase in one hit, bypassing the damage cap. I have done that once before. It's very insane. That ability does make it very good, but I am going to put it in just okay, because in my opinion, the fact that it's A tier, and it's very hard to use effectively, and it runs out of ammo quickly, makes it a just okay weapon. If I was to pull this out of a red chest, I would be a little bit upset, to be honest. There is much, much better things to find. So that's going again in just okay in my rankings. Next, we've got the light gun. The light gun is kind of like the laser rifle in pistol version. It's one of those weapons where if you get it, you're not displeased, but you're probably not going to use it past floor 3 unless you are out of ammo. It's got the little added bonus of firing a duck at the end that does a bit of extra damage, but honestly, the extra damage is not really enough to be... To make it into a good gun. So again, that's going in just okay. I think another thing about it is it only has 150 ammo, which may sound like a decent amount, but you can burn through that quite quickly. And I think if it had 200, it'd make it a little bit better. But for now, it's going just okay. Next, we have the AU gun. And honestly, the AU gun gets more praise than it deserves, in my opinion. It is good, but it comes from an S tier chest. It comes from a black chest, meaning you could have had something like the Yari launcher. There's a lot of good weapons in S tier chest. So you get the AU gun. It has like, I think it's 15 bullets, something like that. It has oh no, is it 20? It has a very, very low ammo count. And almost all bosses take at least 10 shots from this thing to die. It does deal 100 damage in one shot, but you can't room clear with it. It's just impossible on its ammo count. And for your ammo, especially in the later floors, sometimes you're not even going to kill a full boss. Early floors, like I said, about half the ammo count will kill a boss. But for me, that's too ammo hungry for one item, and for that, I'm going to put it in good. It's not a bad thing to get this gun, definitely not. I can't say that. It's crazy high damage, but its ammo is just too low to make it a reliable gun, because you're basically taking away ammo from all of your other possible weapons to feed this thing just to kill bosses, and I think there is things out there of much lower tier which do a much better job at boss killing. Next up, we have the Little Bomber. The Little Bomber, in my opinion, is actually pretty good. I think it does decent damage. It has 2 incredible, if not 3 incredible synergies. One of which is the King Bomber, which makes it fire like little golden shots, and when you hit enemies, they drop casings. That is probably one of the best money-making ways in the entire game, and it's a very common synergy as well. There's like 4 different items that trigger that synergy. I think Gilded Bullets do it, Crown of Guns does it, I think Briefcase Full of Cash maybe does it as well. There's quite a lot of things that trigger that synergy. I think it's 4. So that's really good. And there's another one. If you get it with the bomb or the ice bomb, it makes it into like the double bomber, where it fires 2 bombs at once, upping its damage massively. Now, I do have to say it only has 60 ammo, and it's got a very, very long reload, which holds it back immensely. But then on top of that, you've got to think it's D tier, and it can open secret rooms without the use of a blank. So for that effect, I'm going to put it in just okay. If I was to pull that out of a D tier chest, I would be fairly happy, considering how easy some of the synergies are to get, and considering I can open up secret rooms without the use of a blank. I think that's relatively good. Now, lowercase r, this is a very strange one, because the weapon as ranked on its own is garbage. It's pure trash. It's just dog shit. I'd never pick it up in my life. But it has so many synergies that are so common that up its damage. Like the explosive bullets massively ups its damage. If you get it with the Book of Chest Anatomy, it allows it to open chests for free. It's got some really, really good synergies that really up its power by quite a lot. So again, that's going in just okay. It's one of those things where it sits in your back pocket doing nothing, and sometimes you get a good synergy for it, sometimes you don't. It's something that when I open a brown chest, I am not displeased to see it. There are definitely things I'd rather see, but it's still pretty decent. And of course, it has 900 ammo as well, meaning it's very good at finding secret rooms, things like that. But I couldn't say it's bad. I can't even say it's pure trash. I'm going to say just okay. Now we've got the Luxon Cannon. Luxon Cannon, one of the assault rifle archetype items that I think is very, very strong. I think the Luxon Cannon is very good. It's got a very powerful final shot that does a lot of damage. It's got good ammo, although I do say it has a fast fire rate, meaning it burns through it quickly. But it also has 2 very good synergies. One that allows you to create glass Gwonstones, which is very nice, and another one that ups its damage by 25% flat outright. I can't remember what you can get that with, but that's a very good synergy as well. And so for that, I'm going to put that in good. I think the Luxon Cannon is a very good item. I think it's a B tier item, so it's very deserving of its tier. And yeah, I like to see it. Whenever I come across it, I'm very happy to have it. Next one, we've got the M1. The M1 is one of those that's... It's like, if you got the M1 or the sniper, it's really a toss-up of which you'd use. The sniper does more damage, but the M1 fires a bit faster. Again, the M1 has a few good synergies out there. It has diazepam, which is just a great synergy. You get that with muscle relaxant, and it increases all like rifle type weapons by 50% their damage, which is insane. And that is not super common, but I have it from time to time. And you've also got the other one where if you get the ammo belt, it makes it into like a little sort of M1 multi-tool thing where you get like a speed boost and a damage boost and a magazine size boost and a fire rate boost, which is a very nice synergy as well. But on average, on the average run, I'd say you're unlikely to get those synergies, and on its own, it is just okay. It's just okay. Next up, we've got the M16. The M16 is an A tier weapon, and it's one of those A tier weapons that is perfectly deserving of its tier in the game. It is so good to have, considering it can swap between normal shots and grenade launchers. You got to think as well, you can weapon drop to get permanent grenade launcher. You can weapon swap to get permanent grenade launcher if you time it right. And you can just shoot one bullet of the normal gun and get straight back to a grenade launcher, meaning it's very good. It's very ammo efficient. You can get a lot of your grenade launcher shots off because they don't consume any extra ammo. They still only consume 1 out of the 500, which is insane, by the way. So it makes it a very, very good weapon, and I'm going to say it's a huge help. I'm saying every single run you get the M16, it will carry you as a room clearer or a boss killer, and it is A tier. Although that means it's a little harder to get, I think it's a very good weapon that basically you need to buy or get whenever you can. Next, we've got the M1911. Oh no, that's not. It's not M1911, or is that the Colt? M1911. This is okay. It's just all right. It's a pistol, and that's really all I can say. Like, honestly, it's bad. It just does exactly the same as other pistols, but does a little bit more damage. It's not very good at all. Next up, we got the MAC-10. I think the MAC-10 is basically a worse version of the machine pistol. I really do. So again, I don't know. I'm going to put that in just okay, but at the lower end of just okay. It's got good ammo, it's got like a 5-round burst, it's got okay damage, but again, if you use it past like floor 3, you're kind of going wrong there. Next up, we've got the Machine Fist. Machine Fist is weird. It's got a normal machine gun assault rifle type fire, and then when you reload, you fire a player driven, so it follows your mouse or your cursor or whatever, rocket. I think it's alright. I don't think it's amazing. I think for its tier, it's going to go in just okay. It's going to go in the higher end of just okay, though, because I do think it is good to have, and it's nice to have that explosion. But honestly, it runs out of ammo relatively quickly, and I honestly think the rocket that it fires is kind of annoying to use. Next up, this is going to surprise a few people, we've got the machine pistol, which I think easily goes in good, and it goes very high in good for one main reason. It has a synergy that is incredibly common. I would say that 50% of the time you pick up this gun, you will get this synergy, because it synergizes with a lot of items, that makes it have electrifying bullets, angry bullets, piercing bullets. It just does it all. It does it all. And it makes the weapon like 20 times more powerful than it normally would be. And it can carry you through boss fights, through room clearing. And it's got a slightly lower fire rate than the MAC-10, which makes it easier to not consume as much ammo. And it's got a decent clip and like overall ammo size. I'm saying it's a very, very solid D tier item. That's the thing. This is D tier. This isn't. Like, that is insane. This being C tier over this is just crazy. So this is a much better item to get, and I am always happy to see this boy. Right, next up we've got the magic lamp, the little lamp here. Lamp is a very solid boss killer. Very solid boss killer. In fact, I'm going to put it in huge help because it does such a good job at killing bosses. It does not do anything else right, really. It can't room clear at all. It's never useful as a room clear. But just having it as an offhand boss killer ready for when you come up against a boss makes it absolutely incredible. I think it's such a good item. It's such a good gun, sorry. And yeah, it's always worth having to kill bosses. Bait Launcher is the next one, and this one's a little weird because this one kind of fits into both boss killing and room clearing, but in a very strange way. I think that it's got low ammo, like 50. It's I think it's C tier, which makes it pretty decent, and it does stun enemies that it doesn't kill, and it usually kills most enemies in one hit, but you've got to think that from hitting the stake at whatever enemy you want, for one, it doesn't always go for the enemy that you hit with the stake, meaning that it could go for a completely wrong enemy and put you in a bad situation, and two, sometimes the tigers can get stuck and walk around in the wrong directions, or sometimes they can just take quite a long time to reach the target, and I think that really puts me off using it a lot of the time. If it was a little more like quick and fast between hitting them and munching on the person that I hit, and also if it always went for the target that I hit with the stake, that'd be a little bit better. But for that, I'm going to put it in just okay, but again, upper tier of just okay. With it being C tier, it makes it pretty good, but the Tiger's AI is just very lackluster, and it makes it very difficult to use. Next, we got the Magnum. I think is possibly one of the best pistols in the game. Unfortunately, its ammo is the only thing that lets it down, but it's going in the good tier. There's nothing much to say about it. It's just a pistol that has good damage. It's very nice to have. Just a shame that it lacks some ammo. If it had 300 ammo or more, it'd be in huge help, but otherwise, it's going in good tier. Now, Mahogany, this is one that's going to confuse people as well. One of my favourite guns in the game. It is brilliant in my opinion. It is very, very, very strong. I think a lot of people overlook it. It's got 350 ammo. It can room clear on every single floor in the game, in my opinion. Not very good as a boss killer, but it can room clear in basically every single floor. It works incredibly well with basically all of the bullet modifiers, and it has one synergy called Hardwood, which is fairly easy to get. You can get it with like the decoy, explosive decoy. You can get it with the boots as well. What the hell are them boots called? But the heavy boots, sorry, and you can get it with quite a few different things. It's a very easy synergy to get, and it makes all of its projectiles into the explosive acorns, and for that, I'm putting it at the top tier of good. It's not quite huge help. If you could get that synergy all the time, it would be huge help, but it is obviously a random chance to get that, so yeah, I'm going to put that in good. I think that's a very, very good item. I think it's very majorly overlooked considering its ammo efficiency and the fact that it's only C tier. It gets overlooked hugely. Next, we've got the little mailbox gun. I think this is alright, but the element of randomness in the package that it fires means that it's very difficult to use effectively. It can fire a poison package, it can fire a glitter package, and I think the last one's an explosive one. I don't think it can fire any more, can it? I think it's just them three. Either way, you always want the explosive one, and you just never get it. You just never get it when you want it, so that's going in just okay. As a D tier item, it's nice to have, but it's not that good. Makarov, straight up going in bad. It's just a low damage pistol. That's all it is. There's nothing special about it whatsoever. Now, this is going to be controversial as well. This is only going in huge help. The makeshift cannon is a brilliant item. It breaks DPS cap. It kills bosses in one hit, but it is incredibly ammo hungry, and it really doesn't work well on multi-phase bosses at all. So in my opinion, it's a huge help to get it, but with it being such a rare item, and the fact that it's so ammo hungry, it means that it's not really a run winner on its own, especially considering it has literally no chance of room clearing whatsoever. It can't do it. Next up, we got the mass shotgun. The mass shotgun, very, very good. It's difficult to use though. Its difficulty to use makes it very, very awkward. With it being a B tier weapon, it's got good ammo, it's got good damage, but there is a specific damage range you have to stand in to get a full effectiveness. Some rooms just don't allow this, some enemies don't allow this, and it's one of those items where its situational usage makes it too difficult to rely on, and I think that it can be used as a good boss killer and it can be used as a good room clearer, but you've got to be very experienced with its damage range and how you fit into that damage range, so that's just going to go in just okay for now. I think for its tier, it's just a little too hard to use and takes a little too much thought. Next, we've got the Mega Dowser. Pure trash. It is absolutely garbage unless you get it on the robot, and we are ranking this generally. We cannot rank it based on just the experience with the robot, and in most cases, you do not want this thing. It is pretty much useless. Very garbage. Mega Hand is the next one. Very, very, very strong. Possibly one of the strongest room clearers in the game. It's going to go in huge help, and it also, for one, it should be A tier, but it's not. It's only B tier, and it has so many synergies, and so many of them are so good. Basically, it's get equipped with, where you can press reload while it's at full ammo to switch between firing types, and you can get ones that fire bullet ball shots, you can get ones that fire bubbles, one that fires lease with a mahogany, you can get ones that stop time. There's so many synergies with this thing, and it's just such a good room clearer. It's super solid, but again, I do not think it's good enough to get a run winner because it doesn't kill bosses very well at all. It does have a charge time. That is its major downside, but its ammo efficiency to room clearing potential, considering it one-shots a lot of basic enemies all the way to the end, makes it great. Next, got the microtransaction gun. Everyone knows this is trash tier. If you get this, it is the most disappointing thing of your entire life. It comes out of an A tier chest, a red chest. It costs money to fire, and it's very, very weak considering it costs money. Like, it has the ability to fire explosives, set fire to things. It even has the ability to unlock chests if it fires out a marine plushie. But you might also fire an explosion at the chest and destroy it. So it's pretty much worthless, and it is not deserving of its tier at all. Pure trash. If you get this thing, just sell it or munch it or something. It's terrible. Next up, we've got the Mine Cutter. Mine Cutter is a beautiful, beautiful room clearer. It lacks a little bit on ammo, and it does have a little bit of a discrepancy between its two firing modes. But with it being as good as it is in terms of damage, it's definitely going in B tier. And we're sitting that right there. Lovely. I don't know where I'm going to rank it within the actual list there, but that's where we're going to put it for now. Right, next up, we've got the Balloon Gun. Balloon Gun, in my opinion, it's good. It does good damage. It gives you flight. But if you get hit while it's equipped, you lose all of its ammo and you lose the flight. In my opinion, that is too big of a risk on most runs to make it reliable for boss killing or anything. I know you don't want to be getting hit, but the fact that if you do, your ammo is gone is not great. Next up, we've got the Molotov launcher. Garbage. It's garbage. You can literally get an active item that does the exact same thing, and it's rechargeable and has technically infinite ammo. And why do you want us to be spreading fire everywhere? Fire's basically useless. Unless you've got a weapon or item that directly sets an enemy on fire, I do not like having fire about. It's risky, it's not fun, it restricts your playing area. I just think the Molotov launcher is bad. It has a few synergies that make it better, but not good enough to be worth using in any circumstance. If you get this out of a C tier chest, you're sad. You're big sad. I really hate that thing. Next up, we've got the Moonscraper. Moonscraper is one of those items that's... It's a beam weapon, and it's got that reflect. It's alright. We're going to put it in just okay. It runs out of ammo relatively quickly, and it doesn't do crazy good damage. It's just alright. Next up, we've got the Morningstar. Another S tier item. Very, very good at boss killing. Pretty good at room clearing. I'm going to put this in huge help. It's not a run winner on its own because it does eat through ammo super, super quick. It eats through ammo so fast. Next, we've got Mr. Accretion Jr. By the way, I do apologise. I'm not going through every single item's actual in-game tier as I go over it. For one, I'm going over these items quickly. I don't want to be spending too long on each item because this is going to be a long list. We're already at half an hour and we're barely making a dent. So I'm not going to go over every single item's in-game tier. But this is just going to let you know where I rank it personally. And some of them, if their chest tier is especially important to getting them, then I will mention it, but others I'm just going to pass over. Either way, I do apologise. I'll leave a link to the wiki so you can check the tier rankings in terms of in-game of every single item here. Either way, we've got Mr. Accretion Jr. up next. This is another one it's weird. It's only got 100 ammo, and I do believe it comes from a B tier chest, which to me is a little on the low side for ammo. It fires out planets of varying variety, of a big variety doing different effects, and basically, if you miss, it orbits you and you can hit enemies with them. But when you pass from room to room, for some reason, the planets just hit against the door arches and just get destroyed, so you can't carry planets from room to room, which is basically the main reason I don't particularly like this item, this gun, sorry, and I just think it's just okay. It's all right to get, and it does a bit of damage, but you can't rely on the right planets being shot, and you really can't rely on the orbiting effects. If you have things that allow you to fire multiple shots, like scatter shot makes it a much better, because you're likely to miss more shots, meaning you get more orbits, so you can go for a little sort of melee build, but otherwise, not that good. Next up, we got Mutation. Mutation fires out a big, like, tendril of meat and sinew and just horrible stuff. But it does good damage, and it has a few good synergies that I quite like. So I think I'm going to put that in good. I think most of the time I get that, even though it does run out of ammo pretty quick. I think the ammo is a little bit of a problem with this. I do think it is still a pretty effective weapon. Next up, we've got the nail gun. D tier, obviously, but this weapon, it's got some strange properties about it. As it is, it deals 3 damage a shot, which is nothing. It's very, very bad. But it doesn't have to reload ever, which is a very big positive. Not many guns have the ability to do that. And it has one really, really good synergy, which triples its damage, which for me makes it just okay. If you get it, you can rely or hope to get that synergy. It is a relatively common synergy, and it really bumps up the stature of this. Next up, we got Old Goldie. This, honestly, would have been in the bad tier before the Farewell to Arms update, but as of the Farewell to Arms update, it got a massive, and I mean massive, damage boost, and it's put it all the way up to a huge help. It's only got like 80 ammo. It's still low on the ammo side, but it hits hard. It hits really hard. It can do a great job at room clearing. It can boss kill. The only problem is it is a little ammo hungry, but I think it's a very, very good item. Next up, we got the Origami. Straight up putting it in just okay. Actually, no, I'm putting it in bad. I decided because, honestly, on PC, it's a good item. It's a good item because you can use your aim to direct it wherever you want, but if you're using it on console or you're playing with a controller, all it does is take your aim assist away, and its damage does not warrant that. It's just so awful not having aim assist. It does have a very good synergy with the map, which is relatively common, but honestly, most of the time I pick this gun up, I'm not excited to see it. I'm going to put that in bad. It's definitely not as bad as these three, but it's still bad. Next up, we've got the Particulator. The Particulator is strange. This is another S tier item, which is just... It's just not S tier. Literally, you've got the Scrambler, which is C tier, which is far better than the Particulator. So the Particulator is going in good. It is nice to have, but I think its tier outranks its power. It doesn't have an ammo problem. It doesn't have a damage problem. It's just not powerful enough to be S tier, in my opinion. So when I get it, I'm always a small bit disappointed that I could have got something better. The Patriot here. Patriot is very, very good. It pierces, which is nice. It fires faster the longer you hold the trigger, and it can do some insane damage to bosses. It also has pretty good overall ammo. Ammo to put it in huge help. It's very good at room clearing and boss killing, and again, its synergies are really good. Really, really good. Next up, we've got the Banana. Banana's going in bad. I think every time you get this, it's kind of like, do you ever even use it? Is it even there? You kind of throw it around a bit, it gets a few explosions, and you put it away and never touch it again. I really don't think the Banana's that good at all. It is only C tier, which does make it a little better, but I just tend to never use it. I think the way that it bounces around and everything, it's just too random to rely on as a good damage dealer. Pea Shooter, going in pure trash. It has one very good synergy, but other than that, it's just not a good gun. It's pretty bad in my opinion. Very, very high ammo count, which is its only saving grace, but other than that, it's an item that you never ever want to see, even from a D tier chest. Same with the Phoenix, going exactly the same on Phoenix. I think this is a pure trash item. Actually, no. It's not going to be pure trash. It's going to be just bad. I was going to say, it's going to be pure trash because it's got no good synergies, really, and its damage is just god-awful. It's just awful, but it can set enemies on fire. If you get up close, you can set enemies on fire, which elevates it slightly above pure trash. Now we're onto another weapon that sets enemies on fire, which is much, much better. The Pitchfork is very good. Starts with 200 ammo, has a few good synergies out there, does decent damage. It's got a really slow fire rate compared to some of the other things like the Flame Hand, so it's going in just okay, but it is a nice weapon to have. And if I open up one of those C tier chests and see this bad boy, I'm not upset. I'm not upset at all. It's fine. Plague Pistol, that's going in bad as well. I think it's got this really weird power design. So it's a D tier item. It fires relatively quick. It poisons enemies, but not on contact. It shoots them. It lays a poison pool beneath their feet, but it knocks them back out of the poison pool and results in you not really poisoning that many enemies unless they walk back through that poison pool, which makes it very hard to use effectively, and that's going in bad. I'm just going to take a sip from my drink here. In for the long haul right now. Next up, we've got the Plunger. Plunger, again, it's going in bad. It has uses. The fact that now with Fail to Arms, it has infinite ammo. It can refill all of its ammo by picking up poison, which it lays down, so it has infinite ammo, which makes it very good for duct taping and things like that. But honestly, the only time I ever use this is I'll have it, I'll walk into a room, I'll do one spray of it, poison everything in the room, and then just stop, and that's all. And as I get further into the run, I normally just forget about it and never use it again. So in my opinion, it's a good duct taping gun, but other than that, it's not that good at all. Polaris, this is a weird one because Polaris is really good and it does insane damage, but it heavily relies on your ability to not get hit. If you're a person that goes throughout most of the game taking minimal damage, this is easily a run winner. If I can stick this at level 3 and keep it at Polaris level 3, it is a run winner. But even I can't keep it at level 3 all the time. I have had a few runs where I've done it, but for now I'm going to put it in just good because it has a barrier to entry for its damage. If you get it to level 2 even, it's very good, but even that, keeping it there is annoying, and it can lose levels while getting hit while you have other guns out as well. You can't like get it to level 3 and then put it away and just take it out for bosses. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, so unfortunately, it is just good. It's nice to level up, but honestly not that good. Next up, we've got the Pox Cannon. The Pox Cannon is a very effective poison weapon in my opinion, so we're going to put it in just okay. It does a good job at poisoning enemies, and it's got a decent amount of knockback, and when enemies that are poisoned die, they leave a poison pool. That is the main reason it's only going in just okay. Even though its damage is good and poisoning enemies is nice, the fact that it leaves these poison pools limits your playing field, it limits your movement, and as a C tier item, I don't want anything that hinders me, so this is going in just okay. Next up, we've got the Proton Backpack. This is a B tier item, and I think this is a very decent damaging weapon, but again, it's going in just okay, simply for the fact that it just runs out of ammo so fast. It's got like 500, I think, something like that, 300, and it just melts through it. Absolutely melts through it. You like use it for about 4 rooms and it's gone, and you can never kill a full boss with it basically. So unfortunately, it's going down there. The Prototype Railgun, this is A tier, and honestly, it's deserving of A tier. I think I'm going to put it in A tier because Prototype Railgun, it's pretty good at room clearing, but it's got low ammo. That's the only thing to think about here. But it is very, very good at boss killing, even as low of an ammo that it has. It can always finish off a boss, and I think that's really nice. I think anything that you can rely on for most of your run, and it's not going to be too ammo hungry. Normally you get 2 boss kills per full ammo, this guy, so I'm going to put it there. I think it's really good. Next up, we've got the Pulse Cannon, which is it's a shotgun that, it's weird. I like it, but I just feel like it's missing something. I think it's maybe its range, but it's got good fire rate, it's got decent ammo, it's got decent damage. It's just, I always find it's hard to use. This is going to go to the higher end of just okay, but it's very, very near to being good. Next up, we've got the Barrel, which is straight up going in good. I don't need to give too much of an explanation for this gun. It does good damage, it's only C tier, and it can stun enemies. You can even use it as a boss killer, and it has 2 or 3 very good synergies that are relatively common. Easily a good weapon. If you could get this out of a blue chest, you're pretty happy, or at least you should be. It's definitely a weapon you need to give more of a try, and it's pretty ammo efficient too. Quad Laser, trash. Honestly, people try to justify this gun being good. Use it as a melee weapon, use it as a melee weapon. No, I don't want to. It's got low ammo. It doesn't do enough damage considering how slow its projectiles are, and it's trash. It's just trash. I don't like it. I'm pretty sure this isn't this a C tier? No. Yeah, it's C tier, I believe. It's garbage. Right. Let's just do this. 1 second. I'm going to pull up the wiki. I said I wasn't going to, but just so I can check the tier of a few different things. But, honestly, Quad Laser, is pretty trash. Right, let's go over to enter the Gungeon. I'm doing this on my phone. Wiki. There you go. Wiki, wiki, wiki. Wow, waste. But yes, quad laser, not good at all. Come here, little Gungeon. Come here. Let me type. There you go. Quad laser. Oopsie, I didn't even search that then. Oh my god, I'm so bad with the phone. Either way, let's move on to the Radgun. Radgun, this is a very, very, very good gun. If you haven't used the Radgun yet, or you haven't used it effectively, every time you reload, there will be a bar at the top on the reload bar. If you press reload again, or you shoot on that bar, it will do a successful reload, and you gotta go, red, cool, yeah. And it's awesome, and that ups the gun's damage, and you can stack that multiple times. Each time the reload gets faster and faster, making it harder and harder to get the precise reload. But if you get it up to about 6 times done, it becomes insane, to the point where it one hits basically anything. By the way, the quad laser was C tier. But yeah, it one hits basically anything. Like, apart from bosses, it will one hit most enemies. The only problem, the only reason it's going in good, it has a barrier to entry. Again, I do not like items such as Polaris that make you work for its damage. If I get a gun, it should be out of the box, be able to kill. Although this can scale very well, it requires a decent amount of reaction times and skill to get it up to high levels, and every time you reload you have to redo the whole process, and it ends up just taking a long time and being kind of an annoying thing to use, and honestly I don't like it too much. Next up we got Raiden Coil. Raiden Coil is one of those items, I do believe it's A tier, that you just never see. I don't know about you guys, but you just never see this thing. But it's very, very effective. I'm going to put it in good. I think it's not quite a huge help, but it kills all the enemies in the room and it can shoot enemies through walls, which makes it very, very effective. But unfortunately, it does run out of ammo relatively quickly. It does have one synergy that makes it consume much, much, much less ammo, which is really nice. But it's like, I've seen that synergy once, I think. Maybe twice. It's just okay. It's nice for clearing out rooms, especially considering you can do it from behind walls, but it runs out of ammo too quick, and considering it comes out of a red chest, it's a little bit of a bummer considering a lot of the items you can get from there are a lot better. Next up, we're going with the real railgun. This is going on the same tier as the prototype railgun. Again, it's very, very good as a boss killer, but this time it's much better as a room clearer as well. I quite often, when I have this gun, even though it only has 40 ammo, I quite often use this to room clear in bullet hell. It's very effective because the bouncing projectile hits basically everything, especially on large rooms, and even sometimes if you kill the end of a wave, it'll kill the next wave in the same shot, or some of the next wave at least. And even though it's actually S tier, unlike this, which is A tier, I still think they belong in the same tier because neither of them can win you a run outright, but both of them are huge helps. I can't believe we've got nothing in run winner yet. Nothing. But we'll get there. We'll get there. As I said, this is a real, this one item will carry you, one gun will carry you sort of tier. We're not going to put any old thing in there. Next up, we've got the Rattler. As a gun, I think it's very good. It's one of those shotguns that I like having. Poison shot, which is really nice. It's direct poison as well. It doesn't add a poison pool. It is direct poison. It comes out of a green chest, so it is B tier. And I think it's got 200 ammo. I think that's pretty effective. It has a pretty good blast, and yeah, I just think having that poison and good damage, it's a reliable shotgun. Definitely one of the items that I'm happy to have. RC Rocket now. RC Rocket. It's definitely a huge help, yeah. I was going to put it in good because it can't room clear, but this thing alone is so good at boss killing. Boss killing weapons as huge helps are just the best. Like, if you get this thing, it is going to carry you for every single boss for your entire run as long as you can feed it with enough ammo. And considering it starts with 50, it's pretty easy to keep it going. Normally you can get 3 boss kills in 1 full ammo until you get to the later floors. I think that's pretty damn good. Next we've got the loot. Trash. It's just, as an item, it buffs companions, it fires out little notes, it's just trash. You don't want it, it's crap. It's just garbage. I don't like it at all. Next up, we've got the regular shotgun. Now the regular shotgun is going real high up in good. It is D tier, which makes it so good for its power, and it's exactly as it describes. It's a regular shotgun. It's got good ammo, it's got good damage, and it's only D tier, making it a very, very good gun. Next up, we've got Robot's Right Hand. Robot's Right Hand, I think I'm gonna check actually. I think this is A tier. I'm pretty damn sure actually. I'm pretty damn sure. Robot's right hand. Is Robot's right hand the one that he carries? It is. Sorry, it's Robot's left hand. I'm thinking of. This is Robot's left hand. Robot's left hand. It's one of those ones where when you get it, it's like there's many guns that it's kind of like a weaker Vulcan cannon. So I think it's gonna go on the upper side of good. It's very nice to have, but it's not the best. It has pretty widespread. It has decent ammo, but not great ammo. But yeah, it's going to upper side of good. RPG is going bad. Honestly, a lot of people say just use it as an offhand, fire it, put it away, let it passive reload, fire it again. That's just too tedious. It's nice, but I don't want to do it. I am just going to stick with my other guns and do the damage rather than pissing around with that thing. And it has such a slow reload. I think its reload is like 3 seconds long. It's insane. I don't want to deal with it. My god, there's so many guns to go. Yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. It's not very good at all. Next up, we got the Beehive. Beehive, this is okay, but in my opinion, it doesn't really get into good because it does room clearing, it does boss killing, but normally its ammo just doesn't carry very far at all. Doesn't carry very far at all. And yeah, with it being B tier, I think it's like, I'd like it to last a little longer. Now we've got Rubidyne Mark II. Rubidyne Mark II is good. It's a pistol that I think it has bouncy bullets. It does good damage. It's got good ammo. I'm pretty sure it got buffed with Farewell to Arms as well. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good damage dealing pistol. Quite like it. Now we've got the normal Rubidyne. Pretty much the exact same deal. It comes out of a much lower chest. The Rubidyne Mark II comes out of A tier. I do believe the Rubidyne prototype only comes out of a C tier chest. So the chest discrepancy in those is 2. So I think honestly, it's also good. For its tier, it's a pistol that I'm never sad to see it. And honestly, if you can get them both together and get that synergy, my god. Up next is the SAA. SAA is a pretty good pistol, got good damage, and it bounces. If you hit the bullets off the wall and bounce it and get a hit, it does quite a bit of extra damage. I think it does like 50% extra damage. It's alright. I'm going to put it in good. It's just a nice pistol to have. It does a good room clearing. Next up, we've got the Sawn-Off. Nothing to say. Super short range, super low damage. It's pure trash. Science Cannon is bad. It does random effects when you hit enemies in a beam. It's got pretty low ammo. It runs out pretty quick. The random effects is annoying because you don't always get the effects you want. And the damage of the beam itself is pretty low. It's just bad. The Screecher. This thing. The Screecher. Also, not to mention, this is B tier, which is just terrible. Screecher is C tier. How did this gun ever make it to C tier? This is D tier through and through. It is garbage. It can stun enemies, apparently, but it happens like once a millennia, and it has to be one of the lowest damage per shotguns in the entire game. It's awful. Next up, we've got Shade's Revolver. Shade's Revolver gives you a bonus to coolness, a coolness bonus of 2, which is rather nice as a pistol, and just for that coolness bonus alone, we're putting it into good. I think as a pistol itself, it is definitely alright. The SA is definitely better. The Rubidyne, I think these 3 are definitely better. But because it comes with 2 coolness, that ups it quite a bit, and it's rather nice to have. Next up, we've got the Shell. I think the Shell is an enabler sort of gun. When you get it out of a B tier chest. It's alright. But I do think it's hard to use effectively, but as soon as you get some bullet modifiers on there, especially any that increase the amount of shots or bounces or anything like that, it becomes a monster, and it has a synergy with the shell gun as well that makes it very, very good. So for now, that's going in just okay. It's nice to have, but it never really stands out to me. Shell gun, it's garbage. Absolute pure trash. It gives you, I believe, 2 curse, which is just special. It has its pistol variant, which is actually not bad, and it has its beam variant, which is outright just the worst thing ever. It does such low damage. It runs out of ammo quickly. It gives you curse, and I believe, let me check this. I believe it comes out of a pretty high tier chest. Let's go check exactly what tier this thing is. My god, when you're looking through all these items, everything just gets muddled up so easily. It's so easy to forget which guns are coming from where and all this sort of stuff. Gelatin, Shellagun, B tier. Yeah, B tier. Do you really want that from a B tier chest? No, you don't. No, you don't. It's trash. It's just trash. Next up, we got Battery Gun. I think the Battery Gun is just okay. It's nice to have. It does a bit of damage. It's kind of just meh. Every time I get it, it gets a little bit of usage if I don't have much else, but otherwise it's like meh. Exactly the same with the Betrayer's Shield. I think it's like, you can pop up that shield thing, which is it's alright, but the gun itself has a low magazine size, pretty low ammo, kind of low damage, although it does have the synergy with Lies, meaning if you do get it before, well, on the first floor or oubliette, you can guarantee it to get a really good synergy with infinite ammo and all that sort of stuff, which is very, very nice, but otherwise it's just an okay item. It's too difficult to rely on getting that little bit of chance to get it on the first floor and oubliette that I just think it's not good enough. Shotbow, trash tier. I think it's garbage. It comes from B tier chests, and oh my god, every single time you see it, you just want to die. It's so bad. It fires out arrows and a shotgun spread, and oh my god, it's just no. It's just gross. Again, shot grub, gross. It's got 2 very good synergy. No, actually no. Shot grub on its own is gross, yes, but it has 2 very good synergies that are actually pretty common. One of them with monster blood, and what's the other one with? The other one comes with quite a lot of things like Holy Grail and stuff. So I honestly think shot grub, it's like, yeah, it's fine, but it's normally pretty bad if you don't get those synergies, so we're going to put it there. These two bad boys are going in huge help, both of them. That's huge help, and that's huge help. Both of these are great. This one less so, simply because you can poison yourself with this one, but they are both very good guns, and if you get the dual wielding synergy with them both, it's just insane. They're pretty ammo efficient at 150 ammo each. They can boss kill, they can room clear, they can do it all. I think they're very, very good shotguns, very nice to have them. And having this one just charming enemies all the time is lovely. It's very, very big help. Very nice. Next up, we've got the silencer, which I'm going to put in bad. It would have gone in just okay, but it actually got a nerf in Farewell to Arms, and I have no idea why. I have no earthly idea why they did that. Like, literally, who was out there going, oh my god, the silencer. It's so powerful, guys. That C tier item, it's just too good, guys. It's just too good. No one. Literally no one. So they nerfed it, made it awful. Honestly, I think it's pretty bad. It does have the ability to stun enemies if you hit them with the reload, but that's just too difficult. I do apologise. Next up, we got the Siren. The Siren is probably going at the top, at the like higher end of good. I think as a shotgun, it's very nice. And no. I learned something recently that I didn't know about. This thing gives you fall damage immunity when you're holding it, and it gives you immunity to status effects like fire and stuff. So it's a huge help. It's got good ammo. It's got good damage. It's just an all-round great shotgun. Got quite a lot of shotguns in here so far, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. There you go. Skull Spitter. It's for a C tier item. It's all right. I think it runs out of ammo pretty quick. Its damage isn't great. We're gonna put it on the lower end of just okay. The Sling, that's going in huge help. I think the Sling as a D tier item, it's such a good boss killer. It can kill every single boss in the game on its own without any assist. And normally you can kill 4 or 5 bosses before it even runs out of ammo. So I do think that it's very, very, very good. Next up we got, not Shades Revolver, Smiley's Revolver. Smiley's Revolver is a bit weird. It's the exact same as Shades, exactly, I'm pretty sure, in terms of damage values, but it gives you a shop discount instead. So again, it's going on the same tier. The shop discount of, I think it's 20%, makes it pretty worthwhile. Next up, we've got the Snake Maker, a very, 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 very good room clearer. I'm going to put that up here. Can turn enemies into snakes, got pretty good ammo, and the chance to turn enemies into snakes is really good. It can even be used as a boss killer in a pinch, although it's much better as a room clearer. Very good item. And considering it comes from an A tier chest, I quite like it. Every time it shows up, I'm pretty happy with it. Big Iron, one of my favourite guns to get. I'm actually going to put it in huge help, honestly. It's one of those items that you can use it as a room clearer or boss killer in its default state, and then it has like 4 very powerful synergies. One of them is the one that makes its shots into a big explosive pellet that pierces. That's really good. Another one is the one that makes its shots into like a magic shot, which does like can transmogrify into chickens. I think it's just a very, very good item. I think you're lucky to get it if you get that. And with it coming from a green chest, I think it's pretty damn useful. Next up, we've got the sniper. I compared this to the M1 earlier. Gets the same synergies, gets the eyes of hammer and all that sort of stuff. I think, again, it belongs in just okay, although I do believe it belongs a little bit higher than the M1. It does a little bit more damage, and the 360 yes scope synergy with it can be broken to all hell. Snowballer is going in bad. It has utility, it can freeze, and it has some synergies that are nice, but most of the time it gets very little usage, and you really don't need it. This thing, I believe the power staff is just, I'm pretty sure it's A tier, and it's just not deserving of it at all. It's got this little, it's got normal pistol shot, and then it's got this little magic shot it does, and I don't think it's that good. It's called Staff of Firepower, isn't it? Yeah, it's all right. Honestly, if I get it, I'm never super displeased, but there's definitely better things I could get. Now, Starpew, this is one that I've been kind of thinking of as we make our way down our list for a while now. I genuinely think this is our first run-winning item. Honestly, you may think I'm mad, you may think I'm crazy that I'm ranking this above all of these items, but it got an absolutely massive buff with Farewell to Arms, it's still A tier, and it can room clear and boss kill so easy. It charges up to full very quickly, and it's got a 100 round magazine now rather than one. And the only downside is limiting range, but I have cleared 3 floors, bosses and all with this thing in a single ammo. It's insane. It's so good. And I do think that if you get the Starpew, you are onto a pretty big winning run. I am going to put it in run winner. It's going to be lower down in run winner as we get down, but honestly, one of our first. My god, it's good. Sticky crossbow, going in bad. It's actually a good gun, but it's heavily limited by its ammo. It's got only 100 ammo. It's just not enough to make anything happen, and unfortunately, it sets it back quite a ways. Sadly, going in bad. We got the Stinger now. Also, not to mention it being C tier. It's like, meh, it should kind of be D tier. The Stinger, I'm going to say it's good. Stinger is always one of those ones. It fires out, comes from green chests. It fires out rockets that fire out bees. That's pretty good damage. I think all in all with the bees, it does like 40 damage a shot. It's got pretty good ammo. I would say that most of the time you're going to be pretty happy with that as a boss killer. Probably not as a room clearer, but boss killer definitely. Stone Dome. Stone Dome is definitely going good as well. It adds Curse, which is a little bit of a downside of it, but very ammo efficient, pretty good. It's got incredibly strong homing as well, so it's very hard to miss targets. And yeah, I just think it's really good. Also, not to mention, it's only B tier, and it fears enemies, which is really nice for certain contact-based beanbag little midget bloody spent guys. The guys that come out the ground in the hollow, little beanbag boys. Really good at dealing with those. Very, very nice. Strafe Gun. This is another one that's like, it's probably going in good, but lower end of good, because it is an S tier item, and it just never feels S tier. It's definitely one of the lowest ranked S tiers in the game, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm not that big a fan of it. Now we've got the Sunlight Javelin. Sunlight Javelin is going in good as well. We're getting a lot in good so far. I knew this was going to happen though. I knew we were going to get a lot more in good. But honestly, Sunlight Javelin, very, very nice. It's got a charge up, which makes it a little weak, and it's not got super high ammo, but normally you can kill most enemies on the floor with all its ammo, and it can be used as a boss killer in a pinch. Again though, not reliable as a boss killer, but still nice, and I quite like using it. And also, it is just a fun item to use, so that's going in good. The Super Meat Gun, however, this is another very, very good item. This is so close, so close to being S tier. Not quite. It's definitely going to huge help. You get a health upgrade upon picking it up. You get a movement speed bonus from holding it. It comes out of an A tier chest. It has piercing. The blades bounce around everywhere. The only limiting factor is the blade's damage isn't super high and it runs out of ammo quickly, but the speed boost you get while holding it and the extra health it gives you on pickup is kind of insane. Very, very nice. Big Shotgun, yet another huge help, in my opinion. Getting a lot in huge help here. But big shotgun, they recently fell to arms. I say recently, it's been quite a while now. But they buffed the amount of ammo this thing has. It can reload shotgun shell type enemies into the gun without actually shooting, which is very nice. And it refreshes its ammo. Really, really good. Does very good damage. Can kill bosses, can kill basic enemies, can clear out rooms very easily. And as it's called, big shotgun, fires big shots. The explosions are huge. They affect basically everything in the room. I think it's a bang tidy item. Easily a big help on a run. Tangler, yet another huge help. Don't know, actually. I almost put it in run winner, but it can't be done. Can't be done. This comes out of a C tier chest and is possibly one of the best shotguns in the game. Its damage is so good, and it's so ammo efficient. Honestly, this gun has carried so many runs for me. On its own, I couldn't say it's a run winner simply because of its ammo. It's slightly a limiting factor. You couldn't carry this throughout an entire game and not run out of ammo, but it is very, very, very strong as a shotgun, especially, like I said, for a C tier. This is trash. Absolute trash. Don't touch this thing. It sets enemies on fire in a radius, but it does really, really low damage. Tier Jerker, again, trash. Really, really hard to hit things with it. Really low damage. A nice nod to Isaac, but nothing else. Tetris gun, bad. You have to stack up certain Tetris pieces. It comes out of an not A tier, sorry, B tier chest. But yeah, you've got to stack up certain pieces until you get a line piece to do an explosion. And I hate it. It's so random and awkward to use. Every time I get it, I'm a little bit disappointed. I think it's not very good. Next up, we've got the Emperor. Emperor comes from A tier chests. I think it's just okay. From an A tier chest, it's nice to have, but it's just, it should be a little more powerful in my opinion. We'll mess around with the power rankings within each tier soon, but yeah, we've still got quite a lot more items to get through here. Next up, we got the, I almost said Gilded Hydra. Not the Gilded Hydra. No. This is the Exotic. The Exotic has pretty decent damage, okay ammo, but I would normally put it in just okay. But it's easily getting put in good, because the little helper that follows you around tells you the contents of the next chest you want to open. Walk into a chest, the little robot that flies near him, it not only blocks bullets, but it will tell you what is exactly in that chest, so you know whether to waste a key, or use the key for good, or whatever. It's very, very useful for that. Fat line, just okay. It's good, but it runs out of ammo very quickly. Coming from an B tier chest, sorry, makes it a little bit of a downer. It's not the best, but honestly, I can use it. I can get on with it. It's nice. It does pretty good damage. The Judge, as a pistol, is going in good. The ammo is really nice. Comes out of a B tier chest. And its final shot can freeze. It can set on fire. It can explode. It's really good. I think it's possibly one of the most solid, if not the most solid pistol in the game. And it's basically like a normal pistol with a little twist at the end. I quite like it. I think it's pretty good. Next up, we've got the Kiln. Kiln is just okay. Actually, yeah, Kiln is just okay. It would be bad if it wasn't for the fact that when the pots hit, they fire out the little gems. And that's quite nice, and it also has some good synergies too. But most of the time you get this item, you forget it exists. Honestly, how many of you pick up this item and run with it? You pick it up, it goes in your back pocket. You might use it when you run out of ammo, otherwise it just kind of sits there. Next up, we've got the Membrane, another very, very, very good shotgun. Not quite as good as the Tangler, but I'm putting it higher up here. The bouncy shots that it does, again with it being C tier, it does very good damage. Again, it's got good synergies. I think it's an all-round solid shotgun. Many of the shotguns in this game, as you might tell, are very, very good. Very, very good indeed. Accuracy upgrades make it really good. This is so close to being a run winner. It's so close because it negates all boss damage completely. It just stops any boss from hitting you. In fact, yeah, it's going and run winner. I was deciding whether I wanted to or not because it does have low ammo, but honestly, you only need to fire like 4 or 5 of these and it has 30 ammo, and you have basically killed that boss. You can use it to room clear as well, which is why it goes into run winner, because you can use it to room clear. You've just got to be aware that it is low ammo, but it is an item that can basically guarantee you get flawlesses, and I think anything that guarantees you get flawlesses guarantees you get HP, meaning you've got a much, much, much higher chance to win, meaning it is a run winner, in my opinion. Not to mention, it comes from a red chest, not a black chest, meaning it's even better because it's even more common. Next up, we got this third-party controller. Again, pure trash. If you get this out of a B tier chest, oh no, it's A tier, isn't it? If you get this out of an A tier chest, you are depressing. the big depress. I believe it's A tier chest. Either way, if it's A or B, you're depressed. It's not good. The Predator is very good. Very good. Huge help. Predator, good damage, good synergies, and it lets you steal. Anything that lets you steal is a big bonus. This item is just, yeah, it's one of the top dogs. You can use this for room clearing and boss killing. Much better room clearer though, but yeah, I think it's a fantastic item. I remember the first time I got that when the update came out, I was very, very impressed with it. Next up, we've got the Scrambler. Run winner, easily. In my opinion, it is absolutely S tier. The Scrambler is B tier. It's a B tier item, and it's better than Particulator, which does basically the same thing, but this does more damage, I think. I'm pretty sure, or at least very similar, and it's way easier to get, way more common, and yeah, I just love it. I think the Scrambler is great. It's such a good boss killer. It's such a good room clearer, and it has 120 ammo, which can last you quite a long time. Easily an S tier item. Love it. Next up, we've got the Tommy Gun. Tommy Gun is just okay. It's nice to have. It's not good. It's not bad. It just helps out. It's a nice little bonus of room clearing. You get it out of a C tier chest, so it's like you get it and you're not happy, you're not sad. It's just a gun. It's just a very normal gun. Thunderclap is bad, honestly. They buffed it and gave it like this weird effect where it has like an electric radius around you with farewell to arms, and it feels like the buff did literally nothing to make the weapon better at all. It still sits in bad considering I do believe it's an A tier item. Actually, let's check on that one, because they might have changed the power rankings that one when they moved it over to farewell to arms. I know that quite a few weapons did change in their tier, and a few of them I do forget. So let's have a little look-see. Thunder. Clap. Search. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. There it is. It's A tier, yeah. It's A tier, yeah. That solidifies it being in bad. Trank Gun. This thing had so much potential. So much potential, but it's just bad. It's just a straight up bad pistol. This was changed so many times. When Farewell to Arms came out, it wasn't in the game. It was accidentally left out, but it was in the Ammonomicon, and the only way to get it was to start as Paradox and get it as your starting item. And that was the only way to actually unlock the finished gun within the first week of the game coming out. I did that. I think I was one of the first people to unlock the finished gun and beat the game after the update. I think I was like the third or fourth. And yeah, I did that, and it was a very different trank gun. There's a synergy you can get with it now where it turns them into like, it fires like darts that slow enemies, and that's how it used to work, like by default, and then they changed that to a synergy. Very upset about that, honestly. It being lowered to this is just, it just makes it a regular, boring pistol you just don't want to have. Next up, we've got the Trash Cannon. I mean, it's in the name. It's trash. It fires out projectiles that deal like 20 damage, something like that, very low damage. And then it fires poison everywhere and massively limits the space you have to move around. And it has long reload, and it has low ammo. It's just, yes, crap. Trick Gun. Bad, honestly. It's another pistol. It comes with a shotgun built in, but it's too much faffing around. I don't want it switching between on me. And it's C tier, which makes it a little better, but I still think it's a pretty bad weapon. And yeah, I'm not that big of a fan. Trident is actually one that I don't get very often, but I'm going to say it's a huge help. The Trident, very good at boss killing. Very, 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 very good at room clearing. And if you didn't know, it actually gives you immunity on reload. When you reload, you spin the Trident, and that spin blocks bullets, like the Huntsman. Very, very useful. Not many people know it works like that, but yes, I think the Trident is very, very good. Triple Crossbow, trash. It slows, which is nice, I suppose, but every time I get this thing, I just want to cry. I just want to actually cry. I believe it's C tier, and it's one of them items that you get, and it's just like, I could have got the Scrambler, and I got the Triple Crossbow, which is just garbage. Next, we got the Triple Gun. This is another one that I don't see very often. I'm going to put it in good. It would be a huge help if you could activate the final phase more easily, but its first phase is pretty trash. Its second phase is just okay, but its third phase is amazing. When you get to near to low ammo, its third phase is so good, but it's just, again, that barrier to entry really locks it off from being amazing, and this is a B tier item as well, which makes it a little harder for me to say that it's worth the grind, worth the input. Next, we got Blasphemy. Honestly, S tier run winner. I know it's a starting item, but you can actually get it from chests. It's very rare, but it comes from B tier chests, sorry, green chests. And obviously, as anyone knows, it destroys bullets. It has good damage when you're at full health. And you can deal double damage with the swing and the sword that it throws. It's so good. It can win you a run on its own. It's so defensive. It's great. It's one of the best items in the game. This thing, putting it in bad, it's not quite trash because the knockback you can use pretty effectively on a lot of floors, so knocking enemies into pits. You do have to think about it and be a little smart with how you play it. But the fact that it has that use case, which is most of the time actually pretty doable, puts it in D tier. Next up, we got the turbo gun. Honestly, do you want RSI? Do you want repetitive strain injury? Do you want arthritis in your old age? If you do, use the turbo gun. If you don't, stick it in the garbage, because this gun is terrible. The way this works is when you reload it, the more times you tap reload before it next reloads, the stronger the gun is next time. Its default power is very, very low, and yeah, you have to spam it so hard to get good power out of it, and yeah, it just hurts. I don't want RSI. Sorry, but I don't want RSI. This is going in bad. Unfinished gun, D tier, not that great, but it does have piercing. That is its caveat, that is its main feature that makes it good, and unfortunately, its damage is still low, but having piercing really brings it out of pure trash and makes it actually usable. Unicorn Horn, this is an A tier weapon, and I think it's just okay. Its damage is nice, but you've got to think, it comes with curse, and it's an A tier. Is it worth a curse? And it's one of those items, again, that every time I get it, I seem to just have it in my inventory, and I don't really use it. I don't really do anything with it. So we're going to put that in just okay. Next up, we got the Vertebrae. Vertebrae is kind of like the Skull Spitter, but I do think it's a little better, so it's going to belong in just okay, but higher up. It's very nice. Does good damage. It's got nice homing, but its ammo is incredibly limited. You run out very quickly. Most of the time, it can barely clear one floor, and it does not fare well against bosses, so therefore, it's just okay. But if you get it, it's not a bad item to get. Next up, we got some of the Void Core items. We got all of the Void Core items, actually. So the Void Core Assault Rifle is just okay. Honestly, it's fine. It's an assault rifle. It's B tier. Yeah. This bad boy, I believe, is B tier as well. A huge help. Very good boss killer. Very good room clearer. 4-round burst. Pretty decent ammo. It's very, very, very nice to have. I quite like it. Next up, we've got the Void Marshal. Void Marshal is going good. It's just straight up, it's a good pistol. Get it from B tier chests, and it's just straight up a good pistol. That's all I have to say. This guy is just okay. Again, kind of lies in the same power ranking as this. Its damage is alright, its fire rate is alright, but this has a really, really big limiting factor. It has very low range. It spreads fine as well, but yeah, its low range just makes it a little hard to use, honestly, so that's just okay. Vorpal Gun, this is a weird one. If it crits a lot and you have high coolness, this is a very good item. But on its own, it's just okay. It's very hard to make that gun work with the ammo it gives you if you're not getting reliable crits. If you do have a lot of coolness though, them 100 crits come in big and heavy and do a real good job. Next up we've got Blooper. Blooper basically combines the T-shirt cannon's effects with the damage of something like a Void Core shotgun. And I think that makes it just okay, but again, the higher tier. It's got short range, it's got low ammo, but it does okay damage, and it has knockback. When I get this, I believe it's B tier, and I think it's like one of those items that, again, it sits in my back pocket. I'll probably use it as I pick it up, but it's not going to be that great for me. Let's have a look what tier it is. Just make sure for this one. There will be a few of these that I have got the tier wrong on. I'm sure of it. Please do leave a comment below about the tier. But do remind yourself that even if I do say the tier wrong, because like I said, I'm going through all the items. Sometimes I'm getting mix mash between them. My ranking still stands because I am ranking it based on my experience with it. So I do apologise for that, but yeah, it is B tier, the Blooper. Also, the Blooper has a very long reload. Very, very long reload, considering it only has like 5 ammo per magazine. Next up, we've got the Vulcan Cannon. Vulcan Cannon is another huge help. We're getting quite a lot of huge help items here. But yeah, Vulcan Cannon, huge help. It's really good. It triggers a lot of bullet modifier effects. It fires fast. It's got good ammo. It's a good boss killer. It's a good room clearer. All in all, it's kind of similar to the Patriot, really, but it's actually better than the Patriot, because the Patriot, you can't really dodge roll with it. This thing, quite like it. I think it's good. Also has very good synergies. Ooh, has that music gone off? Oh no, it's starting again. Good, good, good. It's starting again. Right. Next up, we got the Winchester rifle. Winchester rifle is bad. It's bad. It does all right damage. It's got okay reload. But the thing is, it's D tier, and it plays like it's D tier. It doesn't have great damage. It is what it is. Then we got the Winchester shotgun, which I think is a pretty good shotgun. It does good damage. I believe it comes from a C tier chest as well, which means it's cheaper at shops and things like that. Again, ammo is a limiting factor. It's only got 100, which makes it a little hard to use for a long period of time, and it does have slightly limited range as well. I mean, a lot of shotguns in this game do, but this one especially. And I think that's another thing that makes it a little bit on the worse side, but it's definitely good. Next up, we've got the wind-up gun. Surprisingly, this is going in good. It's a D tier item, and honestly, I think it's one of the better D tier guns in the D tier chest pool. It's very, very good to get. If you can stay on top of the reload and make sure you always reload before it goes below half, it's very, very powerful, considering it's D tier, very common weapon, and also it has two very, very good synergies. One with oiled cylinder, which means that it never has to reload to get the better ammo. It always has the better ammo, like the higher damage ones. And one with 7-leaf clover, which just makes it into an all-around godly gun, but that's obviously a very rare synergy. Next up, we've got the witch pistol. That's going in just okay. Incredibly low damage. It is only C tier, but it has the chance to transmogrify, meaning it is actually very effective against gun nuts and the totem enemies and all them sort of guys, like the lead maidens. Really nice to just, sometimes you can just one pop turn them into a chicken. Easy, very nice. So it's a nice to have as a backup weapon. Wooden beam, this one is very weird. Very weird. I like it, but it's just okay, because it gives curse. It's hard to use. It pushes enemies around. It can give some uncertainty as to where the enemies are, because you're just constantly swinging. And if you're doing the whole like Beyblade swing to win, it can confuse you very easily and mean that you get hit by bullets that you don't quite see coming in. And so I do believe it's a little harder to use. Next up, we've got the Yari launcher. I mean, no one will be surprised by this. Yari launcher is a run winner. It's so good. It does not room clear, but it kills bosses so goddamn fast. It breaks the DPS cap, and it's just insane. Most of the time, you can kill 2 or 3 bosses on one lot of ammo. And yeah, I think it's a run winner. If you get it, you're just ecstatic. It's so good. It's fully deserving of its S tier ranking. Zilla shotgun, again, just okay. Is it? I think it's A tier, the Zilla shotgun. Let's go check that. I'm pretty sure it's A tier. And if it is, it's just not deserving of that rank. Zilla. There you go, Zilla shotgun. A tier, yeah. Zilla shotgun's A tier. If you can do the charge up shot, which is nice, but it does consume all the ammo of the magazine if you do the charge up shot. It's an okay shotgun, but I'm never happy to see it out of an A tier chest. There's much better things I could have got. Next up, we got the Zorgun. Oh god, we've still got so many to go. Next up, we got the Zorgun. Zorgun is another weird one. I think it's alright, and its last shot is always a special explosive shot. But for its tier, it's not amazing. I'm going to put it in just okay, actually. Higher tier of just okay, but it definitely belongs in just okay, because it's one of those ones where, yeah, it's nice to have the assault rifle, it's nice to have the extra explosive shots, but it's got a longer reload, it's not got super high ammo, and yeah, I think it's just okay. Next up, blunderbuss. Yep, it's crap. It's pure trash. Every time you get it, it does good knockback, but it's not a good item. Don't want it. D tier. Bow is really, really, really pure trash. Like, one of the worst items in the game. Even with synergies, I think the bow is absolutely garbage. Takes way too long to charge up and has too little of a damage payoff. I do not like it. I do not think it's very good at all. Definitely belongs in pure trash. As with the boxing glove. Honestly, the boxing glove has a really nice, cool, unique feature. If you kill 3 enemies, you get a charged up shot that does a nice bit of damage. But on the flip side of that, You have to get very close to enemies, and it does not destroy bullets with its melee. If it destroyed bullets with its melee, it'd be a lot higher up, but it's just such a risky item to use. On top of that, I do believe it's C tier, and on top of that, it gives you curse. So it's just, in my opinion, not a very good item at all. Next up, we've got the Brick Breaker. Bounces turtle shells around the room. I mean, it's dear and close to my heart as I am the TurtleMelon, but I do think it's just okay. Higher tier of just okay, definitely, but it's... I really wish they made it into a real brick breaker so you could open up secret room walls without blanks or something cool with it. But yeah, it's just okay. If you get it from a chest, I think it's C tier. It's fine. Bounce your turtle shells around the room, do a bit of damage. It's lovely, but it's nothing special. Next up, we've got the BSG, the Big Shooty Gun. Now this is a tie between Run Winner and Huge Help. It is only S tier, which makes it a little better. But it's got low ammo, and it only kills one wave, not the entire room. So I'm going to put it in Huge Help. It's just nice to have to clear out rooms, and it can clear out a full floor on its ammo. But unfortunately, the fact that it doesn't clear a full room, it just clears a single wave, means it's a little hard to use, and it's not a particularly effective boss killer either, which is a little shame. Next up, we've got the Bubble Blaster. Bubble Blaster is a weird one. It's got some very strange oddities with how it fires its bubbles. It does weird damage. It's inconsistent, but it does let you one-cycle the Dragon's Heart. It's going to go in bad, honestly. It's most of the time when you see this thing, you're not too happy with it. It's not great. It's nice that it's got some sort of unique feature, but I think the way that the bubbles flow out is just too weird and random, and it just makes it hard to use. Next up is the Bullet Ball. Bullet Bar is going in just okay. It's a very nice item. It's a, I keep saying item, I do mean gun. It's a very good gun, but the damage that it does has a timer. You have to fire, then you got to wait for the drill to hit the enemy, then you got to wait for the drill to drill the enemy, then it explodes. And that, although it stuns the enemy, is just too slow of a gun to be effective. If you get it with scatter shot and things like that, it becomes a much better gun because you can kind of crowd control with it. But it's just okay. I do believe... What tier is the Bullet Ball? Let's go check. I can't remember exactly. Bullet Ball. Bullet Ball. There you go. What tier are you? What tier are you? A tier. There you go. So for an A tier weapon, I mean, it has 75 shots and it can stun enemies, which is nice, but as an A tier weapon, I want to be killing my enemies fast. I don't want a timer on killing enemies. Next up, we've got the counterpart to the shell. We've got the bullet. I do think the bullet is actually quite a lot weaker, and I'm going to put it in bad. It's not like low down in bad, but I'm going to put it in bad simply because I find that with the shotgun, it fires out the shotguns, and the shotgun shots go everywhere and hurt enemies. With the bullet, you fire out the pistols, and the bullets that the pistols fire never hit enemies. And it's a massive amount of wasted potential unless you have things like scattershot or helix bullets. I really think the bullet's not that good of a gun. Next, we've got the 38 Special, pure trash. It's a really, really low damage, garbage, absolutely garbage pistol. Very not good at all. This bad boy is great. Putting this really high up here. This is a very, very good shotgun, very decent damage, and also can transmogrify. Not very good as a boss killer, but as a room clearer, solid, and it's got decent ammo as well. I think it's pretty good. Next, we're moving on to the buzzsaw. This is basically the smaller version of the super meat gun. I think this is pretty good. I think this is a good item, a good gun, sorry. Basically, fires little blades around the room. It's got some cool synergies if you get it with, like, the Winchester shotgun and things like that. I think it has a synergy with the Rattler, with a lot of different shotguns, where it, like, ties electric between all the razor blades. But I think it's pretty good. It's an item you don't see that often, and I do believe it's C tier. Again, we'll go and check that out and just make sure, but I do believe it's C tier, which makes it even better. Buzzsaw. Buzzkill even. It's called the Buzzkill. Yeah, C tier, so I think it's pretty good, pretty ammo efficient, it's nice to use, I like it, it's quite a fun item. Next up we've got the Cactus. Now this is one that's very strange for power rankings, because as by default its power ranking is bad. It's a bad gun, but it has synergies that make it into literally the strongest gun in the entire game, like outright the strongest gun in the entire game. But they are rare, so we're not going to put it in trash, but we are going to put it in bad. It has very slight potential. It's also quite nice because it has a lot of ammo, but it has very slight potential to be very powerful, which pulls it out of trash, but the gun as a base is not great. The camera, again, it's bad. It's nice that it hits the entire room. It is nice to use, but it's got low ammo, meaning you can't clear many rooms with it. And it does take quite a while to kill bigger enemies, and sometimes it just outright can't. Sometimes it'll take 3 magazines, and you got to think that you've got 3 shots per magazine, and it's got a decent reload. It's just too much time invested into killing an enemy. I don't think it's that good. Casey is close to being S tier. If it wasn't for the curse it gave, it would probably be S tier. But I think because it gives curse, and because it's dangerous, it's hard to use, it's going in huge help. It's very nice that it's got infinite ammo, probably its biggest upside. And it's very nice that it's D tier, but it gives 2.5 curse, which is kind of dangerous, especially if you already have curse on top of that. And yeah, it's an alright gun though, it's fun. Everyone loves Casey. Cat Claw. Cat Claw's a weird one. Very rare item, you very, very rarely see it. But I think it's pretty effective. It's got decent ammo, decent damage. I think, again, this is A tier. I will go and check that. I'm going to put it in there for now. I do think it's a good item, so I am definitely going to keep it in good. But I do just want to check on its tier. I do believe it's A, though. I just want to fact check myself. Cat Claw. Are you A tier? It is indeed A tier. So for an A tier gun, it's not that great, but it's nice. I do like it. It does good damage, and it has good synergies too. So yeah, we're going to put it there in good, at the lower end of good. Chamber gun, honestly, you might think I'm a madman. You might think I'm crazy, but if you are going to bullet hell, chamber gun is the best gun in the entire game, because chamber gun has a specific version for each floor that you're on. You can change between them while reloading, while having a full magazine, and the version that you get on bullet hell is the best gun in the game. You can clear the entirety of bullet hell and the boss without running out of ammo in one full thing, and it's basically like the Radiant Coil times 1,000. It's amazing. Also, a few of its other versions, such as the drill version from the 3rd floor and the shotgun version from the 2nd floor, are very nice as well. But the bullet hell version alone makes it an S tier run-winning gun easily. Charge shot is one that's kind of strange. Used to be bad, used to be terrible. Used to reload too often and everything, but the upped its magazine size, and I believe the upped its damage as well, makes it a good weapon. Really nice piercing. Got 2 bounces, can bounce around the room. And just, you can have a real good time with it. I think it's very, very good. Doesn't run out of ammo too fast. I think it's got 75. And I do believe it comes out of a B tier chest. I think it's a pretty good B tier item. I do recommend it. This thing, oh my god, is it garbage. The charm bow is just sad and pathetic and worthless. Yes, you can charm enemies with it, but it does literally no damage. And it comes out of a fucking B tier chest. Oh my god, it angers me just thinking about it. Who the hell designed that thing? It's awful. Right, next up we've got the Cobalt Hammer. Honestly, Cobalt Hammer's bad. It comes out of an A tier chest. It only has like 60 ammo. And if you use its charge shot, it uses more ammo per shot. It's just, its damage is good. I mean, outright, its damage is nice. It can kill a boss pretty damn quick. But my god, you just run out of ammo so fast with that thing. It's just, why? Why did the ammo not get buffed? Why? I don't want that thing from an A tier chest. It's just bad. It's just bad. Orb, however, very, very good. Very, very good. It's slow firing, but kind of a slow reload, and it's got low ammo, but it hits like a truck, and it has very good synergies. Very, very nice to have. If you open up an A tier chest and you find that thing, or if you see it in a shop, I still think it's a worthy buy. It's going to be a good boss killer for you, especially if you're not relying on anything else. The Colt 45, basically like a better version of the Snowballer. It's just okay. Its damage as a pistol is pretty decent, and the fact that it freezes. Coming from a B tier chest though, little high ranking for me. I'd like to see it one chest lower. But yeah, that's how it is, and I think that it belongs in just okay. It's alright, but it's not the best. Next up, we got the Colt 1890, whatever the fuck. I think this thing's pretty bad. Honestly, 4-round burst. It comes out of a C tier chest, so that's not too bad. But the damage is low. It's hard to use because it has kind of a high spread. I just think it's not that good at all. As pistols go, a lot of them in the game are bad. This is definitely one of them. Don't like it a lot. Commando is a weird one. I think it's good, but I think it's very low-end good. Very low-end good. It only just makes it into good because it's a nice boss killer. It does have homing, but it runs out of ammo very, very quickly, and it does surprisingly little damage each missile. Like, it takes like three missiles to kill a gun nut. It does have a good synergy with the ammo belt, but honestly, if you get this thing from a green chest, you're going to be happy with it, but there's definitely better things you could have got from that same chest. So it goes lower down on the good scale. I do like it, but yeah, a little bit lower down. This thing, honestly, S tier. Yep, it's going to be another S tier. I think this thing is fucking phenomenal. It's a B tier item, and even though it's a second shot, it's plasma ball shot, does take up 10 ammo shot, it destroys everything. And it can be gun drops to constantly fire that ball, and it can be duct tapes to constantly fire the plasma ball, and it destroys bosses, it destroys rooms, it's insane. And if you ever get it with Ring of Triggers, it's amazing. If you haven't seen my run where I get it with Ring of Triggers, go watch it. It is the most destructive, powerful thing I've ever had in Gungeon. Yes, definite run winner, it's brilliant. Composite gun, yet another S tier item, honestly. Composite gun is brilliant, considering you can kind of use it as a room clearer, although it's got low ammo, so that's kind of risky, but you can use it as a boss killer, and if you fully charge up the shot and fire it, it does a blank effect, meaning it's incredibly hard for most bosses to hit you, meaning you get more flawlesses, meaning you got a higher chance of winning. I think that makes it pretty much a run winner. It's very, very, very good. Very much like the composite gun. Very worthy of being S tier. Compressed air tank. This is one that's got potential, but I don't think it's quite a huge help. It's got limited ammo. You have to charge it up a bit. Again, similar with the bait launcher, the sharks are just, that AI is weird. It's good as a boss killer. It's good as a room clearer. It's just a little hard to use, and it's a little hard to justify with its low ammo, especially considering it comes from an A tier chest. It's going in the B tier. It is just good. Next up, we've got Corsair. I actually quite like the Corsair, but I'm gonna side with the community and say it's a bad gun. It's not pure trash. It does have uses, and you can even use it to fire into rooms before you enter them. Get a little damage off before you even enter a room, but I think that makes it just bad. Its damage isn't enough of a payoff to make it really good, even though it does have good synergies, like the Titanic one and stuff like that. I think it's just bad. Next up, we've got the Crescent Crossbow. This thing is like the pinnacle of disappointment from an A tier chest. If you get this from an A tier chest, you're just like, really? Really? It's just okay. The charge up shot, the normal shot, any of it, it's just okay. Like, I really don't want this from my A tier chest. There's so many better things I could get, but I'm not going to turn it down because it is nice. This thing, however, going straight up in good. This thing's pretty damn good. Crestfaller comes from a green chest, and yeah, it does nice freezing power. It's got pretty good damage. The only caveat to this one is it does have very slow fire rate, meaning it's a little hard to use in some rooms, but the freeze effect, it's basically like having the any other freeze weapon, especially the icebreaker, that's just better. It's just straight up better. I really like the Crestfaller whenever I get it. I think it's very vanilla, but it's just a nice weapon to have. Crossbow, that's going in bad. It's nice, but you do not want it on a run other than when you're playing as the Hunter. It's really good as a Hunter to clear out the first floor and maybe the boss. But if you pick this out of a chest, it's unlikely you're going to use it that much. It really isn't that good of an item. There's a reason a character starts with it. It is D tier for a reason. Onto Abyssal Tentacle. This is another one that I do believe is S tier that's not deserving at all. It's just okay, mainly because it runs out of ammo far, far too quickly. You use it and the ammo's gone in mere few rooms, and it doesn't actually kill that fast. It's a cool looking item, but again, it's one of those A tier ones that you just don't want to get out of the chest. Crown of Guns, this is going in bad. It has the potential to be quite good, but I think it's C tier. When you get this out of a chest, you kind of go, do I have an accuracy upgrade? No, then I won't use it. And considering accuracy upgrades, you probably only get one on like maybe 15-20% of your runs. That's when it's good. But if you don't have accuracy upgrades, it's not very good. It is nice on the robot, however, because he starts with a very powerful accuracy upgrade. Massive spread reduction, otherwise not that good of an item. Dark Marker, wow. This has gone through quite a bit of changes. This would have been pure trash at one point. This is an S tier item. It would have been sitting right here with a chamber. Honestly, it would have done, because it has a charge-up shot that takes holy hell too long. It can be interrupted by one of the pieces hitting a wall because they kind of spread out then collide and make a blank effect explosion. It's just it takes too long. It's garbage. And the default damage was just dreadful. But, they massively massively increased its default damage with farewell to arms, made it a way better item. It is still limiting on ammo. It still doesn't belong in huge help, I don't think. The ammo just holds it back far too much, and for an S tier item, it just doesn't quite hold up against the rest, but either way, it's pretty good. Deckard is in the exact same situation. It's an A tier item, but it can't quite hold up because its ammo is limiting. Very limiting. It does have a really cool Blade Runner synergy though, where you can create a bunch of knife blades when you kill enemies, but not quite enough for me. Limited ammo, have to reload all the time. Honestly, from an A tier chest, it's a very good item, but it's not the best. Right, onto Demon Head. Demon Head, if you get this out of a green chest, you kind of like... I'll put that in my back pocket for later. I'm sure I'll use it, and then you never do. That's kind of what I find. It's nice. It's good. It has a cool synergy with the Jolter as well. And it's a nice beam weapon. Synergizes really well with duct tape, but it just never really gets too much use for me. It's just okay. This little Derringer boy, this isn't pure trash. Surprisingly, it's not pure trash. I used to think it was because it only has 2 shots a magazine and it's like super low damage, but I found out that those 2 shots are enough to kill 1 single bulletkin, which for me is good because that means you're killing bulletkin faster than you would with your default pistol, meaning it's better than your default pistol, meaning it's worth using. So it is bad if you get it late in a run, but if you get it early and it's your only weapon, it is technically better than using your default pistol with some characters. Not all, with some. The main 4, it's better than the pistols. So yes, Derringer is bad, but not pure trash. Devolver, pure trash. Devolving, the effect itself is not very good. It did get buffed with Farewell to Arms, but still, the devolving effect isn't actually that good. You get this thing out of a green chest, and you're just kind of sad because it's got super low ammo, and it's like, I don't even want to devolve enemies. I don't. Why would I want that? Just kill them. Just kill them faster. Come on now. Do it. And unfortunately, this thing, with only 100 ammo, runs out so fast. Directional pad, huge help. A huge help. Directional pad is great, has good damage, it has the ability to have more when you put in certain combos and fire out the little fireball. It can steal with the grapple hook that it can fire with certain combinations. And it can fire out a chest. Well, no, it does fire out a chest when you run out of ammo, meaning you get another item or gun from it. And it can be of any tier, and it usually drops a chest of a bit higher tier depending on the floor that you're on, but usually it's a decently high tier chest. So I think it's a very good item, considering it comes out of a green chest and you can get a black chest out of it. I think that's pretty damn good. Directional pad is definitely a huge help. Disintegrator, another one that's almost a huge help, but I'm going to put it in good. It's nice, it does a lot of damage, but its charge up is too long. And so many bosses require you to dodge roll that if you get this out of a black chest, it's not holding up. Because although I tend to not dodge roll very often at all, I think that dodge rolling's bad and you shouldn't do it unless you have to. There is too many bosses that require you to dodge roll, that have attacks that force you to dodge roll, meaning that you don't get much use out of this. Now you may say, but why not the Patriot then? Because the Patriot can still room clear. This can't. It can't room clear at all, really. Even though it has good damage. But there you go, that goes there. Dragonfire, this is going all the way up in a huge help as well. It can set things on fire. I believe it has piercing, it has good ammo, it has good fire rate. It's an all-round solid assault rifle, and it has good synergies too. I think it's a solid weapon. If you get this out of your is it A tier chest? Yeah, it is A tier chest. It's a solid item. I really like it. It's one of my favorite looking guns as well. I think it looks awesome. Right. Dueling pistol. Not dueling pistol, sorry, dueling laser. Dueling laser is good, but I would say it's a huge help because it's really nice. It's basically just free damage. It charges up off of your damage with other weapons and then fires a very high damage laser, but it does require extra thought. It requires planning, it requires extra thought, and it requires you to always have it as your secondary favorited weapon. And then you've got to sort of establish how much damage you're dealing with your current weapon, and then how long it's taking between charges and when to effectively use it and get it out. And yeah, I just think it's a lot of hassle to use it, but it is good to have. Either way, on to the next. AC-15, it's bad. Honestly, I like it as a weapon. It's brilliant if you have armor, but the fact that the weapon is garbage if you don't have armor is just too much for me. I do not want to force myself to play a different way or buy armor in order to keep a weapon good. I think its prerequisite to being strong is too much. So, yeah, unfortunately, for a green chest item, not good enough for me. Dueling pistol, trash. Obviously, everyone that's picked this gun up in the history of ever knows that this thing's trash. It's just, it's not very good. It does very low damage. You have to reload it too often. I just don't like it. Next up, we've got the Dungeon Eagle. It's bad. It comes from a C tier chest. Even its charge shot is not very strong at all. I think it really struggles with room clearing, and it cannot boss kill. It runs out of ammo relatively quickly, not crazy fast, but especially if you're tap shooting rather than charging. And I just think it's too much of a hassle to make it work. Unfortunately, it's bad. Elephant gun, I'm putting that in good. It's a shotgun that has to reload after 2 shots, but it has incredible knockback and pretty damn good damage. Normally can kill most enemies with 1 magazine, which is really nice, and it has pretty efficient ammo, and it actually can be used as a fairly effective boss killer in those early floors. An item that I'm happy to see from C tier chests. This gun, obviously a run winner. Honestly, I hate this weapon. I think it's just gross. It's a great weapon, but you can get it literally every single run by beating the rat and opening the chests, as long as you beat the punch-out phase and get the keys. It's got infinite ammo, which is, of course, insane. It can turn enemies into cheese and stop them from hitting you, which is insane. It fires out the pool of cheese, which cheesifies any more enemies that walk into it, which is insane. And it's got really good damage, which is insane. It's just an all-round insane gun that's far too easy to get. Next up, we've got the Evolver. And the Evolver, honestly, Evolver is bang tidy. It's amazing. People would wonder why, but the Evolver levels up to its max rank so fast to that little dragon rocket launcher thing, and I don't know how many of you guys have messed around with that thing, but that thing slaps. It room clears crazy fast. You can just one-shot basically everything, and it kills bosses so fast. Like, I remember killing the dragon in like 40 shots with that thing. I think it's insane once it's up to max rank. Only once it's up to max rank as well. But it is definitely a run winner considering how easy it is to get to max rank. Now this thing, I want to just check something here. I believe the Excalibur is A tier. This will make my decision much easier if it is. Excalibur. Let's have a little look-see. Come on, load. Not that hard. This is your only job, Wiki. There you go, Excalibur. It's B tier. Okay. It's not A tier. That makes it a little better. It was almost pure trash. It's bad. It's pretty bad. It gives you like 3 curse. It has fuck all ammo. And it's got pretty bad damage. Honestly, this thing is just not worth the asking price at all. If you get this out of a green chest, in my opinion, it's not even worth picking up for the curse. Honestly, it's just not worth it. It's not very good. Eye the Beholster. Love Eye the Beholster. Very good gun. Going in the good tier. I really like it. The little babies it fires out are really nice. They do good damage. And also the gun itself does good damage. And it has good ammo. All round a great gun. If you get it from your green chests, it's nice to have. I like it. Next up, we've got this bad boy. Again, going in good. I think this is a really good room clearer and boss killer, especially if you throw down the amp. Yet another green tier item. You're noticing a trend here. A lot of B tier items are in B tier. But yeah, you get this thing. Honestly, squiggity-diggity-doo. Love it. Absolutely think it's great. Kind of hard to aim, but that's not a bad thing. This absolute bad boy, the Fight Saber, easily going in S tier. It is an S tier item, but the ability to reflect bullets back at enemies deal great damage with most bosses. It's got good ammo. It's got good damage in itself. It does give a bit of curse, but honestly, well worth it. I think the lightsaber is, it's just so good. It's just, the Fight Saber is amazing. Oh, and next up we've got the finish gun. Again, S tier. Very hard to unlock, but we're not talking about unlocks here. Gives you 5 curse, which is obviously difficult, but the gun is insane. Has crazy high ammo for how, like, it just lasts forever. Its shots are very strong, and its last shot reflects all bullets, meaning you basically never get hit. It's just one of the most fun and best items in the game ever. I love it. I think it's so good. Next up, we've got the regular AK. The regular AK-47, I'm going to say, is good. It's got good ammo, it's got good damage. Again, if you get it from a green chest, pretty happy to have it. It can boss kill, it can room clear. It's just an average, good assault rifle. Regular old gun. I love it. Flamehand is much the same story. Comes from the same chest tier. It's just a good weapon. Sets enemies on fire. Whenever you fire it, it rolls between 1 and 20, depending on your roll in the background, depends on the damage it deals at the time. If you get some higher rolls, it does some really good damage, can set everything on fire, and it can actually kill bosses pretty effectively if you get those higher rolls. I think it's pretty good. Flare gun, bad. You're going to set enemies on fire. It's D tier. You have to reload after every shot. It's just a pain to use. It's nice to set enemies on fire, but there's much more effective ways of doing it. Flash ray is going to go in good as well. For a D tier item, I think the flash ray is very, very, very good. It does good damage, and yeah, if you get this out of a brown chest, be pretty happy with it. It's not going to be one of the better items in the game, but for getting out of a brown chest, considering it's D tier, it is pretty darn effective, and I really, really like having it. Next up, we've got the fossilized gun. It's trash. Honestly, people try to defend this and say, oh, you can cover the entire room in fire. Yeah, I know, and that's awful. Why would I want to limit... Oh, do apologise if you're hearing sneezing in the background. My girlfriend is playing on her PC. But, yeah, fossilized gun. Why would I want to cover the entire room in fire? My God, that's not good at all. I don't want that. I don't want the entire room in a blaze of fire just being destroyed. Like, no. I for one, I want my frame rate, and for two, I want my rolling space. I don't want everything on fire. That's annoying. Freeze ray, bad. Honestly, A tier item, and it's just it doesn't kill things. And yeah, it does freeze, but by the time you've swapped over to your next gun to fire at the enemy that's frozen, or especially boss that's slowed, they thaw out, and the freeze effect is gone, and it was worthless. Ice giant, I think it's bad. People tried to defend me on this, defend the gun on this one. Comes out of a B tier chest. It has 130 ammo. Is that a joke? 130? I can use that for like 3 rooms, man. 3 rooms, and it's gone. It's done. I don't like it. Yeah, you can get up next to enemies and freeze enemies, but why are you getting so close to enemies, guys? Stop it. You get hit that way. No, it's not good. Don't like it. Frost giant, bad. Gamma ray, trash. Gamma ray is just like... There's so many other items like the pox cannon that freeze so much... It's not freeze, sorry. That poison so much better than this thing does. Takes a long time to kill things. I once had to fight an entire boss with it, and oh my God, was it the most depressing thing in my entire life. Gilded Hydra. Pure trash. Yet again. We're getting some quite pure trash items here. Yeah, Gilded Hydra. Really, truly pure trash. It's got some bugs around it that are strange. So it's an S tier item. It has 1 shot in its magazine, which is powerful, but only 1. Has limited ammo anyways, and you get more shots in your magazine based on your missing health. But if you pick it up while you already have missing health, it doesn't count. You have to get the missing health while you're holding it. It's just, no. Why, Gilded Hydra? Why are you S tier? No. Get fixed, please. Just, oh my God, no. It's horrible. This thing, Glacier, used to be a run winner. It used to be so good. Now it's just good. The increase its tier to A tier, which is just annoying. The changed how explosions work, so you can't destroy all the bullets for the explosion, and its freezing effect isn't as strong anymore. So it used to be one run winner because it was only B tier and it would just destroy things, but with it being A tier now, it's nice to have and it helps with bosses, but its damage just isn't strong enough and doesn't hold up against some of the other guns, and it kind of makes it a little bit hard to use. This bad boy is so close to being S tier, but you can lose all of its ammo by being hit. The glass cannon, it's insane damage, absolutely insane damage. It's so nice and has some cool synergies too with like glass stones, but it is one of those items where you've got that risk reward in there, and you've got to make sure not to get hit while you're holding it, otherwise all the ammo goes. But every time you get it, you know that you're going to be slapping some bosses hard. A key, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. As long as you get this item before like the second to last floor, like before the hollow, or in the hollow even, you got 3 keys forever. And it's the exact same power ranking as the AK. Like, it's so good to get. It's so nice. And considering if you find a key shop, it only costs 3 keys to get unlimited keys forever. It's so good. It's such a run-winning item. Opening every chest ever for the future of your run is so nice. Grasshopper, everybody knows this is the worst A tier, if not the worst gun in the entire game. The grass chopper is absolutely awful. It is the worst. It has such a long reload. It only has 1 ammo per shot. It only has 30 shots in total. Who designed that absolute piece of trash? It's so bad. Grenade launcher used to be bad. Now it's just okay. It got buffed in ammo from 25 to 60. It is now much more usable, but it's still not a great weapon because it's just, I don't know, just its damage doesn't really reflect its tier. It is a green tier item, so it's alright, but it's not the best thing ever. Now we've got the Grey Mauser. This is an okay pistol that allows you to steal. So it's going in good simply for the fact of stealing. If you couldn't steal with it, it would definitely be in just okay. But it's only got 100 ammo, which makes it hard to use. And its damage is good, but not great. But yes, the ability to steal from an A tier, sorry, not A tier, B tier item is pretty damn good. And every time I get it, I'm happy to have it. Gunbow, honestly, this is an A tier item that's just bad. I don't like the gunbow. I think it's hard to use. You charge it up, it takes too long. It doesn't do much damage. It does okay damage, but it doesn't do great damage. It's kind of like if the railgun was special, in a special way, like his special cousin. And yeah, I don't think it's that good. Gun to Fury, easily a run-winning item. If you can get this thing up to max rank, bear in mind it does take a while. You have to level it up over the course of multiple runs. So best way to do it is go into rainbow mode. Like do a rainbow run in boss rush. Try and find the weapon, kill all the bosses, and then start the process again. Takes a little while to find the gun, but every boss kill you get gives it a few levels. Get it up to max level, and it is the best weapon in the game. At max rank, the Gun to Fury max rank is the best gun in the game. The only thing is, it's the only reason it's not the top of this list. You do have to level it up, and it does take a while. There is certain things you have to do. Gungeon, again, this would be pure trash, but we're going to put it in just bad. The item on its own is awful. Just one of the worst weapons in the entire game. But it does have the Queen Ant synergy, and if you get that, which is actually fairly common, for a C tier item, it destroys bosses. It's really, really, really good. Next up, we've got the Gungeon. Again, absolute banger. Run-winning item. It's so good. You get immunity to fire and electricity and all that jazz. You have effectively unlimited ammo if you have a goop-producing gun or goop-producing enemies, because you just reload over the goop. That includes water as well, I'm pretty sure. So you have infinite ammo. It gives you a speed upgrade. It fires pretty fast. It's got good ammo anyways. It's just all around a great gun. And yeah, every time I see it, it's great. Even though it's S tier, it really belongs in that tier. Next up, we've got this little boy here. This little boy is bad. Honestly, I don't like this. Every time I get it, the little gunslingers that it fires, they don't last long enough. They kind of sway in the wrong directions and fly off in weird ways. They don't hit the enemy that you want them to hit. They're kind of inaccurate, and they don't really group up on one foe. They kind of just do whatever they want, and I honestly think it's not good. Next up, we've got Gunther, another S tier one, another run winner. Infinite ammo. It levels up in like one or two floors, and then it becomes a god tier weapon that can just like overshadow everything in the entire run, and easily win you a run. Also, he talks to you, which is kind of funny, but yeah, very, very good. Gunzang is just good. It's an okay boss killer. I believe it comes from green chests. It's an okay boss killer. It does a decent job at room clearing. If it get an accuracy upgrade, it becomes really good, but it is just good. It's just nice to have. It's not amazing. Alien Sidearm. Where are we putting Alien Sidearm? Probably going to put it in bad. It does have a guaranteed synergy. Actually, no. We're going to put it up to just okay, because it has a guaranteed synergy. If you get 2 master rounds, which most people get once they get decent at the game, you get the Master Chief synergy, and it makes the weapon much better. It makes it fully auto. It does a bit more damage, and yeah, it's just all-round decent assault rifle, basically. As default, though, it's trash. It's really bad. But the synergy is too easy to get for it to not be just okay, at least. Next up, we've got the hammer. That's going just okay as well. Fast firing, good damage for an A tier, B tier weapon, sorry. But it runs out of ammo incredibly fast. You barely get a floor's worth of usage out of this thing. Even the hammer that fires at the end is really annoying. This one, we're going in huge help. You might be thinking, Heck Blaster? But that's got really low damage. What are you talking about? The Heck Blaster dejams enemies. As a utility alone, it is great. If you get super high levels of curse, you can get jammed bosses and dejam them with a Heck Blaster. And you can dejam regular enemies and kill them and still get the higher casing reward for killing them, even though they're not jammed anymore. That to me is massive. I think that's a really, really big help. Next up, we've got the Hegemony Carbine. Hegemony Carbine is just okay. I quite like it, but it's not super strong. It does have good synergies, but yeah, its ammo is kind of like meh. For a C tier, I think it's alright. Next up, the rifle. As a B tier, I think it's very good. If it gets an accuracy upgrade, it becomes a lot better. But I think it's just a good, solid rifle. You got good damage. Unfortunately, like I said, the accuracy isn't the best, but it's not bad. And it can both room clear and boss kill in a pinch, so pretty happy with that. Helix is just okay. I think it's alright, but it's just so hard to hit with the damn thing. Again, it's like the mass shotgun, where if you're not standing at the right range, it's not that good. But if you are, or if you're fighting a boss and it's easy to hit, it does do good damage. And if you get it with the Helix bullets, you get double Helix, the synergy, and that's really good. And I think it's okay. But as a room clearer, in certain rooms you hit walls, you have to be certain distances away from smaller enemies, it becomes harder to hit. It's a little bit awkward to use, so unfortunately, even though it is a B tier item, it does go in the just okay C tier. The heroine is very similar to the Mega Hand, but it's going to be a little bit lower than the Mega Hand. We're going to put it in just good, because it has a much longer charge up time, and its synergies aren't quite as good. But basically, it fills the exact same role as Mega Hand. You charge it up, you fire a shot, it kills most things in one hit. But yes, as I said, the charge up time is a lot higher on the heroine than it is on the Mega Hand, so we're going to put that a bit lower. Next up, we've got the Hex Gun. The Hex Gun, a chance to chickenify enemies, good damage, going to be going in good. I will rearrange some of these, although it's not going to be a massive rearrange as the video is nearing or just over 2 hours now. So we need to try and cut it down a little bit. But here you go. Next up, we've got the... It's called the High Caliber. This thing is... It's genuinely insane. So it's got one synergy where if you fire the gun and it fires the orb out of the enemy, it fires it towards you rather than away from you. Even if it fires away from you, this thing breaks boss DPS cap. You can just fire like 5 of them, run around the back of the boss, and the boss is dead. And it works on basically every boss apart from ones that like sit on top of a wall, like the second phase of the Lich or the Dragon. But every other boss it works on really, really well. So yeah, I'm going to say it's a run winner. I think it's super, super, super powerful boss killer. Very, very good. But the question is, no, I'm going to lower it. Huge help. Because it's not as good of a room clear as some of these are. So I'm going to lower it 1. It's very close to a run winner though. Very, very close. Next up, we've got the Huntsman. Huntsman is okay. If it didn't give curse, it'd be better. The fact that reloading blocks bullets puts it into at least good, but it does give curse, and it is basically just the regular shotgun. So yeah, it's like a little lower than regular shotgun, because I don't really get much effectiveness out of the reload, and it does give curse, so it's kind of like meh. And it obviously is quite a bit of a higher tier. I think it's B tier. Next up, we've got the Hyperlight Blaster. Hyperlight Blaster is really, really good. It's a huge help, but again, it has a barrier to entry. You've got to be accurate, otherwise you lose ammo. But if you are accurate, it has infinite ammo, and that ammo is very, very effective. It does very good damage, and there's a lot of items out there that really, really help it and make it so that even with missing shots, you can regain ammo back from it. Next up, and lastly, we have the Alien Engine. Alien Engine is bad. It is super situational when you ever want to use this. Even though it does crazy damage, it's very hard to use it, blast you around the room, and you have to get way too close to enemies' faces without any sort of defense for it to be effective. So it does go in bad. Right, so that's my list, at least for the items tiers. Now we're going to try and rearrange them a little bit and sort of go over what belongs where. So first up, I'm going to put the cheese gun at the top of there, because it's like really, really good and it's very easy to acquire. Next, we're going to go with the Fight Saber, because the Fight Saber you don't need to unlock, I don't think. Oh no, you unlock it via the Elevator Man, I think. But it's quite an easy unlock. Same with the Starpy, that's coming up next. Then we're going to go with the Gungeon. Nah, let's swap these two around, actually. Come on. Super hard to swap them around. Then we're going to go with Gunther. Actually, Gunther's going to go ahead of both of these. It's definitely better than these, actually, thinking about it. Then we're going to go for Blasphemy, because it has infinite ammo as well. Then we're going to go for the Finished Gun. Finish gun's going to go in front of that, actually. Finish gun, but it is harder to unlock, obviously, because you actually need to unlock that one. This is going to be a bit of a tedious process, this, but I'm going to try and work at it as quick as I can. And it's not going to be 100% accurate, because I am going to be working quickly here. Next up, we're going to go the combined rifle, then the scrambler, then this bad boy, then the chamber gun, then the Yari launcher, then the composite gun. Yeah, that's about right. The air keys last because its only utility is the keys. Here, what's the best in this tier? Probably this is going to be the best in this tier. Then this tier is really difficult. I see. I'm going to go with all the boss killing guys first. Get all the boss killing ones up near the top. In sort of no particular order, but still in an order. If you know what I mean. Right. I think that's honestly good enough for there. Like, I think everything in there kind of fits already. The shotguns all kind of line up together with each other. Casey's near the bottom because it's harder to use. In fact, I'm going to lower it to the last one. Heck Blaster's really low because it only has utility. This is nice because it gives you an extra chest, but that extra chest could be bad. I'm going to put that there. This actually is going to go all the way up here. The BSG is going to go like here. That's going to go in front of that, I think. And I think that's a pretty good... I'm just going to put that there as well. That's a pretty good line up there, I think. Again, like I said, going to kind of semi-rush through these, especially with these later ones, because they're going to take forever otherwise. Right, in the good tier, what's the best weapon out of those? What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? It's very hard to stack them against each other, considering... I think the Snake Maker's really high up. The left hand's really high up. The Laser Lotus is really high up. The Machine Pistol's high up. The AU Gun's high up. The Luxon Cannon's high up. This is really difficult, this tier. Red Coil's high up. Mine Cutter's high up. Barrel's high up. Oh my god, this is so difficult. The Buzz is high up. No. Oh my god, this is difficult. Shotgun's high up. Rattler's high up. Rubidine's high up. Oh my god. This is so difficult. Ranking these against each other is very, very difficult. Oh my god. This is like the hardest part of this. Actually putting them into each tier was the easy bit, but ranking them against each other within their tiers is insanely hard. This is, like I said, this is just going to be a soft ranking against each other. Because it's going to take me too long to put all the thought into this. It's going to be another like 2 hours on the video. And I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here for 4 hours watching me rank items. Right. Oh, damn. I really, honestly don't know what I'm going to do for them ones. We're going to leave it like that for now. We might come back to that one. This is going to be a sort of revised thing that I'll maybe come back to at another time. But for right now, we're going to just do it quickly. Emperor's going to go high up there. My god. Tell you what, we're gonna leave some of these. We're gonna leave some of these because they're too hard to rank against each other in terms of their power rankings. I think we'll go through pure trash and make sure pure trash is correct. So I think that's the worst item by far. Then we'll probably go with the Club, then the Molotov launcher. Actually, I'll go with that. That's pretty bad. Then that there. That there. And that, yeah, that's good. Sawn off, put that pretty high up there. The bow. Then the charm bow. Then the grass chopper. Probably put the boxing glove before all of them. Oh wait, I'm doing this the wrong way around, aren't I? Oh no. That needs to go at the end. That there. Whoopsie, I can't believe I did it the wrong way around. Sorry. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. It's alright, so we can switch it around pretty easily, though. Yeah, it goes down there. Goes down there. Switch them two around, actually. There you go. So what's the best out of these lot? Probably triple crossbow, because it can slow. This can stun. This is actually okay if you get the right situation. Same with this, but it gives you RSI. The grass chopper is nice because it blanks, but it's not that great. 30 special's kind of up there. The shell gun's up there. Even though I'm going to say these are bad, but they're still up there sort of thing. Shotbow's probably kind of up there. Blunderbuss is kind of up there. Revolver's kind of up there. Gamma Ray's kind of up there. I think that's about right for the rest of those there. But there you go. There's my tier list for now. I know that these second few I didn't go through each one and meticulously order them, because honestly, it's just too difficult. It would take too long. But that's my tier list. I'll leave that for you guys to take a look at. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me ranking every single item and going through what I think of them all. I know I kind of rushed some of the items there, but just imagine this video is already over 2 hours long. Imagine how long this video would have been if I'd have gone in more depth with all of them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know that a lot of you will disagree with my list, but honestly, I want to hear your disagreements. I want to hear exactly why you would rank things differently than I would. I want to see what sort of lists you guys would make using this template and see what sort of things come out of this. Please look out for the item ranking list at some point. I don't know, that'll maybe be next week sometime. We will see what sort of response this one gets. If this one's quite popular, then I'll definitely do the item ones as soon as possible. But yes, that is my list. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys learned something, and hopefully this helps you in the future to choose some items in Gungeon and work out what's going to be best to help you win this game. Yep, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.